What a long, strange trip it's been for Johnny Majors and the Tennessee Volunteers. In September, a team shunned by preseason pollsters stunned Pac-10 power UCLA in Los Angeles, and later manhandled SEC rival Auburn to vault into everybody's top 10. But a gloomy October saw the suspension of leading rusher Reggie Cobb, and the shell-shocked Vols lose their encounter with undefeated Alabama. November's stretch run had potential for disaster, but Johnny Majors dispelled the doomsayers, capping off the month with an impressive come-from-behind victory over Kentucky. Now, in December, the Vols have visions of a 10-victory season dancing in their heads. Vanderbilt's Commodores hope to halt those dreams and salvage a most disappointing season. Their intrastate rivalry is next. Live from Knoxville, Tennessee, TBS Sports continues its sixth season of SEC football coverage. Today, over 90,000 will pack into Neyland Stadium to see the 83rd meeting between Tennessee's cross-state rivals, the Commodores of Vanderbilt and the 8th-ranked Volunteers of Tennessee. Hello, everybody. Along with Tim Foley, this is Bob Neal, and these Tennessee Volunteers are one of the hottest teams in the country. Right now, they may have, if not the best, one of the best offensive football teams in the country. For Vanderbilt, it has been a struggle. Only one win this year. It is a traditional rivalry, however, and Tim Foley, I ask the tough question of you. One of the toughest teams in America, Tennessee, a struggling SEC last-place team, Vanderbilt. What must Vanderbilt do today to stay in this game, even have a chance to win?
Well, the idea is you have to look at this as a non-statistical game. As a matchup, it's David against Goliath, but what Watson Brown has to count on is the emotion of his young Vanderbilt team. Out of the top 40 players on his team, I think there are 30 of them that are freshmen and sophomores, and they're going to come to play. Johnny Majors says you get hit harder against Vanderbilt than you do against anybody else all year. It's going to be an emotional football game, but offensively, they've got to hold the ball a little bit. They've gone to an option attack. They're going to mix in the pass, but they've got to hang on to the football a little bit to keep their defense off the field.
Let's talk about the University of Tennessee, one of the best offenses in the country. I mean, they started off with Cobb and Webb running the ball so effectively. Their defense quite good also. What about the University of Tennessee, and how do you prepare players to come in against a game against Vanderbilt with their record?
Well, you know, I guess you could bring a snowplow to practice and have them play against that. The great thing about Tennessee is their offensive line. Phil Fulmer has done a wonderful job, and they have got 5 guys of granite up there, and they just outmatch everybody that they've played against. And it's just going to be a tough job for the Vanderbilt defense to slow them down. Now, they've been gritty this year, and they've hung in there tough, and they've kept people out of the end zone. But this is going to be their biggest challenge.
Defensively, the University of Tennessee, very strong up front, good linebackers, possibly some weaknesses in the secondary.
Well, some quarterbacks in the SEC have had good days against Tennessee's pass defense. Now, they've bolstered that a little bit by putting young Carl Pickens over there, a true freshman, a good athlete, and they've got another youngster named J.J. McCluskey, and they're getting better on pass defense. But if there is a weakness to this Tennessee football team, that's where it is.
Bragging rights for the state of Tennessee at stake today. Tennessee versus Vanderbilt. We'll be back here with the starting lineups and the kickoff. But right now, let's go back to our studios in Atlanta. Craig Sager and the Insider Report.
Today's game is brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. By Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. By Georgia Pacific. Ask for Georgia Pacific building products with superior performance built in. And by Buick and your Buick dealer. The great American road belongs to Buick.
You're looking at and listening to the Pride of the Southland Band from Tennessee just moments before this game, as is traditional in the 83rd meeting between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. The band marching down the street outside of Neyland Stadium here in Knoxville.
leading the way for some 92,000 folks who will be here for the 83rd meeting. Tennessee holding a 51-26-5 advantage. Vanderbilt last defeated the Volunteers in the final game of the 1982 season, 28-21, and that happened in Nashville. So it'll be a full house here at Neyland Stadium. Beautiful day for football. Slightly hazy, overcast sky, but the sun will be peeking through. It'll be about 50 degrees at game time, and a beautiful day for football in Knoxville, Tennessee. And these Tennessee Volunteers are on a roll. Watson Brown knows that his Vanderbilt Commodores, with only one win on the season, have their hands full. His fourth year at Vanderbilt, only 9 victories in that time. If he looks occasionally optimistic, and you may not see much of that, it'll be because there are so many young players on the Vanderbilt team and some pretty good ones. Johnny Majors says this is, in fact, one of his great football teams of his prestigious coaching career. It was in 1976 that Johnny Majors' Pitt team went 12-0 and won the national championship. Johnny Majors said this team isn't quite that complete, but it is one of the best ones he's ever coached. He is in his 13th season at the University of Tennessee. Vanderbilt won the toss and will defer. That means Tennessee will have the opportunity to take the ball to begin this football game. And Tennessee, with one of the best offenses in the country, Tim Foley, they had to run the ball early, and it may have been the best thing that happened to them early in the season.
I think so. When they started with Sterling hitting their quarterback, they were forced to develop a running game, and they've got one of the finest line coaches in America in Phil Fulmer, and he has come up with a magic formula again this year for him.
Rob Shura, freshman, kicking off for Vanderbilt. Down at the 10-yard line to Carl Pickens, who's returned to kick off earlier this year for a touchdown, but he stopped this time at the 33 by number 28, Matt Justice, for the University of Tennessee. There is a penalty marker on the field. Let's hold everything before we look at the starting lineups. I want to tell you while we check that out, by the way, a player is shaken up from Vanderbilt, that Chuck Webb, the starting tailback, the great tailback for Tennessee, will not start in this game today. He is not dressed. Webb injured an ankle this week, was not able to practice as of last Wednesday, just 55 yards short of the UT single-season rushing record. Chuck Webb will not be in uniform today. The player for Vanderbilt who is shaken up is number 34. That is Carlos Thomas. And incredibly, Tim, Carlos Thomas is one of the running backs, a redshirt freshman. The backs have been injured all year for Vanderbilt, and now limping off the field goes Carlos Thomas.
And he's not only one of the running backs, Bob, but the idea was to go with just one back, with the one back set today, and Carlos Thomas was going to be that back. He took a real shot on the kickoff.
First and 10 Tennessee from the 33. Poles and Amsler starting in the backfield for Tennessee. It's a reverse, a fake, and a pass. It's Amsler throwing. Incomplete down at the 31-yard line, intended for Alvin Harper, number 81. Chris Donnelly, a true freshman, got a little bit of the sense of what can happen in this game. That's Andy Kelly, the sophomore quarterback for Tennessee. The die-hard lineup, Roland Poles, and it was not Tony Thompson, although he'll be back there, but Amsler starting at tailback. Thomas Woods, only 5 catches short of the Tennessee career receiving mark. A tremendous offensive line led by Eric Still, but those tackles are unbelievable. Antone Davis, Charles McCray, and you note that Doug Baird is starting in place of McCray today. Running to the left side is Tony Thompson. Turns the corner. First down, fumble. He fell on the ball himself after achieving the first down out at the 47-yard line, a gain of 13. And here's the Vanderbilt defense that will have their hands full today with this powerful offensive machine from Tennessee. The defensive line, Sarter-Moore, Gandolfo, and Keith. The linebackers are led by the middle linebacker and Vanderbilt's leading tackler, DeMon Winston. Scott Brown is the second leading tackler, and a true freshman who's had an outstanding year at 6 feet tall, 175-pound Chris Donnelly leads the Vanderbilt secondary, which has been a pretty good defensive unit, as Tim told you earlier.
Tennessee is starting out right away with their flop formation, in the sense they have those 2 tackles standing right in the middle of your picture there. Anton Davis and Charles McCray, or Doug Baird. They got those 2 tackles lined up on the same side, and they bring the tight end back over, lined up next to the guard. Almost an unbalanced look, trying to get a mismatch to the wide side of the field as Watson Brown looks on.
In his flight jacket today, if that means he's going to the air more. Tennessee running it. inside Vanderbilt territory with Tony Thompson. Thompson, a junior at 5'7", 175, number 24, should carry most of the load back there in the tailback position, with Chuck Webb not being dressed today.
Tennessee has one of the most balanced offenses in the nation. You know, there are probably people that run it better and people that throw it better, but in terms of a combination offense, they are really a difficult one to make a choice when you're a defensive coordinator. What do you stop? The run or the pass?
Second down, 5. Kelly with the handoff. Close to the first down. Andy McCarroll makes the stop. That was Tony Thompson also near the 43-yard line of the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Defensively, if you wad up in there to stop the run, to stop their effective running backs, to stop that movement of the offensive line, if you bring people in there to shut that down, you know, they've got guys that can jump over the moon on the outside. They've got 6 wide receivers that can play for about anybody, and they'll put 3 of them or 4 of them in the game, and they'll hurt you that way.
Alvin Harper, who can high jump 7 feet, among other things. Poles, Amsler, and Thompson in that full house backfield on the short yardage, and Thompson breaking the tackles. He was hit in the backfield initially by Cedric Moore, broke the tackle, and I think got the first down.
Great penetration here by Vanderbilt. Scotty Brown fights his way through, and Cedric Moore gets a hand on him, but a good job of running. Tony Thompson, good job of keeping his balance, good sense of awareness there. Of course, he's the number 3 guy. Cobb, of course, now departed. Webb having a fantastic year.
Here's the sweep to the right side with Thompson. Thompson to the 40, and not much more that time. A gain of 2.5, 3 yards for Tony Thompson. Vanderbilt's defense has played better all year long, and the man who's led the way in hits for them by a large margin is number 52, Winston.
Well, they've gone to that George Perlis Pittsburgh Steeler defense, and the idea is they want to keep that man free. Damon Winston, the middle linebacker, Moore and Gandolfo and Bradley, whoever's in there, is going to keep people off Damon Winston, and he has been up to the task. He's had a fantastic year.
Second down, 7 for the Volunteers. Kelly's going to throw it. He's got a man wide open in the end zone. Incomplete. It was intended for Alvin Harper. Renford Reese got there in time, and Harper couldn't hold on it. I couldn't tell whether somebody got a hand in there or not, Tim Foley.
It looked like Reese got there, Bob. He came from the backside, and Harper was going down the field with Steve Meads, and he had it early. Good play action by Kelly. He lays it up there, and on the money. Reese reacting to the ball, turns, and I think it's a hand on the ball. Just a great play, a great sense of awareness by Renford Reese there. That was a touchdown.
From McDonough, Georgia, very intelligent senior left cornerback. 8th play of the drive for Tennessee. 3rd down, 7. Kelly to the air again. Incomplete, intended for Thomas Woods, who was open. The pass was overthrown, and Vanderbilt has stopped Tennessee right near the 40-yard line.
Vanderbilt has shifted their defense to the wide side. Good jam on Woods. Now Scotty Brown's got to keep getting depth. Keep getting depth. Reese was drawn over by a man going deep down the middle. Woods usually makes that catch.
Kent Elmore punting for Tennessee. Corey Harris stands back at the 10 for Vanderbilt. Elmore trying to keep it inside the 20. Harris signaling for the fair catch. A very poor punt. Look at that bounce. It bounced all the way back here to the 35-yard line. It's only going to be a 4 or 5-yard net punt. J.J. McCleskey's the man who got the ball, and that punt was only 4 yards.
It's first and 10.
Knows about this traditional rivalry. Despite the lopsided point spread, it can be a tough one. We asked him what he told his Tennessee team about the Vandy series.
It's certainly no fun to lose any time to anyone, but if you think it's tough to lose to Vanderbilt, because once in a lifetime is too much. I remind him, we lost as a sophomore when I was in school, and when I went back to work in the summer, I went back for Christmas vacation, and you heard it all year round, and you heard it till you were sick and you couldn't wait to play next year.
Johnny Majors knows it can happen. Well, Vanderbilt stopped Tennessee on their first drive after 9 plays on 2 heart-stopping pass attempts. One into the end zone that Harper couldn't get, the other one to Thomas Woods, and now Vanderbilt comes back, running to the right side. A gain of nearly 10 yards by Anthony Carter, the sophomore, number 33, who plays the fullback position. Carlos Thomas, who was supposed to start, was shaken up on the opening play. There's the quarterback, Mike Healy. He's a redshirt freshman. He moved in there in place of John Gromos midseason to try to get a little bit more variety in the offense. Corey Harris is their main man, the guy they want to go to. Kevin Brodin, the center. We saw him against Alabama. He handled Willie Wyatt well. He is a good player, and those are some good young offensive linemen for Vanderbilt. Nailed in the backfield is Mike Healy. It was number 90, Marion Hobby, the senior, 6'4", 270, all over Healy. Here's that Tennessee defense. Marion Hobby, the man you saw in action. Mark Moore, perhaps the most consistent of very good defensive line. Hayworth has played well, too. Shazan Bradley, key man in the middle for Tennessee's defense. And it's Pickens, who has just had a spectacular entry. He's a true freshman. And J.J. McCleskey, who were added to the secondary, and that's improved what might be the weak spot for Tennessee. Out of the shotgun, Healy screens it to the left side. It is complete to Anthony Carter. Carter all the way inside Tennessee territory to the 38.5-yard line before J.J. McCleskey runs him out of bounds.
Just a straight zone by Tennessee. Nothing fancy there. Linebackers settling, everybody in, running the routes in front of them just the way you'd want it. Healy initially looking for gains, running an option over the middle. It's not there. He dumps it out in the flat to Carter, and everyone had sucked inside, and there was nobody protecting the perimeter as Carter hot-foots it downfield.
Carter had only 7 catches on the year coming into this ballgame. Nice job there. Vanderbilt on the move. Notice how they're spreading Tennessee out. Here's the handoff. Another opening up the middle by Anthony Carter. Anthony Carter, of course, keeps reminding me of the Anthony Carter who's in the pros now as a wide receiver at Michigan. Not quite that talented, but a pretty good one. 6 feet tall, 205, a sophomore from Radcliffe, Kentucky.
And this is one of the reasons that they made a change in the offense, Bob. They weren't getting anything going. John Gromos, an NFL-type passer, not real mobile. They had trouble protecting him. They didn't really have much of a running game going. They needed to move the pocket around. They needed somebody like Healy in there calling the shots.
Second down, short yardage. Second down, 1. It's Anthony Carter again. He got the first down. Martin Williams making the stop for Tennessee. So Vanderbilt has penetrated the 30-yard line of the Tennessee Volunteers.
You know, in Watson Brown, it's a difficult thing to do, to change your offensive strategy midstream, because what happens is you got to pass a line that's working on pass blocking, and now all of a sudden we got to change. Now we got to start firing out. We start running the option. It's a difficult adjustment to make, and it's been a little bit of a problem for them in this past half of the season, but they certainly want to make it work today.
9:44 remaining in the first quarter. Along with Tim Foley, Bob Neal with you from Neyland Stadium, Knoxville, Tennessee. Scoreless game. Vandy stopped Tennessee after a 9-play drive, and now Vanderbilt on the move. Here's Healy on the option to Carter again. Carter penetrates the 25 to the 23. Shazan Bradley making the stop. The first down stick is about the 19-yard line.
It's hard not to take a team like Vanderbilt for granted. Good grief, you're 9-1, they're 1-9. The coach tries to tell you better get ready. That time Healy dishes it out. They avoid Hobby. Shazan Bradley there to make the stop, but Gaines does a nice job of holding out Hardy, who should be in there helping out faster.
This will be second down 5 at the 24. This has the attention of the Volunteer fans here. You can hear them in the stands at Neyland Stadium. Gaines split out wide to the left side of the fullback, the leading receiver in the SEC. He won't have to catch it this time as they hand it off to Carter, running up the middle, down near the 20-yard line. A couple of yards short of the first down.
And this is like a middleweight fighting a heavyweight. You got to pop them in a hurry. You know, keep moving, and when you hit them quick. They can't take a lot of time developing plays because Tennessee is faster and stronger than they are. You got to hit them in a hurry, trap up the middle, throw it quick on the outside.
Big play for both teams early in this game. Third down, less than a yard. Healy keeps it, drives for the Vanderbilt first down, and the Commodores moving the ball against Tennessee. Tracy Hayworth made the stop that time for the Volunteers. I enjoyed what Watson Brown said about his idea to spread out Tennessee, to try to get it spread out. He said, of course, I'd like to just line up and run the wishbone, but we don't have those players.
No, they don't have the players, and they also haven't had the practice. That's another thing that you have to keep in mind. This was a team that came into the season with throwing the ball 60% of the time in mind.
This team is spread out literally from sideline to sideline on this first down from the 17. Play fake Carter. Healy turns it inside. Healy down near the 12-yard line. Marion Hobby with the stop. Mark Moore missed him right there at the line, but Healy took it up there. Healy, not a tremendously talented athlete, to be very blunt about his talents, but he's a heady player who's been pretty effective.
Yes, he is, and he threw the ball well in high school for 39 touchdowns his junior and senior year, and played at Xavier in Cincinnati, a good Jesuit high school. You know, they play tough, hardcore football, those Catholic schools in up north there.
Tennessee has given up yardage to Vanderbilt all the way down to the 12. This is second down 6. 10th play of this Commodore drive. Healy with the fake. And he threw the ball and hit one of his own offensive linemen in the backside. Penalty marker is down. Healy was going down in the grasp of Marion Hobby when he got rid of the football. The question is it intentional grounding?
I think that's what they're calling, and good job of coverage by the Tennessee secondary. They did not react to the run fake, and Healy had nowhere to go at the football.
Illegal touching on the offense.
There's a good one. Illegal touching. Sounds like a schoolyard call, doesn't it?
There's the fake. He's looking on the outside, trying to get Harris. Nothing there. Dumps the ball off as Hobby throws him to the turf.
That, for Vanderbilt's point of view, is better than what could have happened. On intentional grounding, of course, would be the penalty and the loss of down. This is simply a 5-yard mark off and moves it back here to the 17-yard line.
A lineman touched the ball. That was the call, 5 yards. And
I remember in the schoolyard saying, "Illegal, you didn't get me in the touch games." You probably, of course, being the athlete you were, didn't play pickup ball. But
yeah.
If you did, you shouldn't have been playing.
Well, Watson's got to be happy. He looks worried, but he's got to be happy. The greatest thing about this drive is that their defense has been off the field.
Exactly. Third down, 11. That's gains in motion. Out of the shotgun. Healy. Corey Harris dropped it at the 5. Corey Harris, Vanderbilt's go-to guy out of the wide receiver corps, dropped a ball that would have been first down, possibly touchdown, at the 5-yard line.
Good protection by Vandy's offensive front. Watch this. Healy reads it. He finds Corey Harris and puts it on the money. Great throw there, and Harris can't hang on. The young man from Ben Davis High School in Indianapolis loses his concentration, and in his defense, the ball is coming out of the sun when you're looking back that way.
35-yard field goal attempt by Johnny Clark is good, and Vanderbilt has drawn first blood in this ball game. Now, surprisingly, Watson Brown's going to be disappointed. He wanted a touchdown out of this drive and thought his Commodores could get it. In the lead in this ball game with 6:59 to go in the first quarter. 35-yard field goal by Johnny Clark from Birmingham, Alabama. And the Commodores have surprised Tennessee. Tennessee opened up with a 9-play drive to begin this game. Looked like they were going to cut right through Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilt defense stiffened. Tennessee tried to get into the end zone from around the 40. Vanderbilt, after a 4-yard punt, drove it 46 yards in 12 plays to get the Johnny Clark field goal. Vanderbilt had the opportunity to get a wide open pass to Corey Harris at the 5. He dropped it, or it could be 7-0 Vanderbilt. As Tim pointed out, probably the most significant thing is that keeps this powerful Tennessee offense off the field. Remember, Chuck Webb is not playing today. It's Carl Pickens. Pickens returned one for a touchdown in the first game. He took a kickoff reception, but not this time, out to the 36. Robbie Young chased him out of bounds, and Pickens returned that one 30 yards. Pickens, a two-way player, actually three-way if you count special teams. He plays free safety on defense. He's a wide receiver on offense, and he is a true freshman. Redshirt freshman. There's Mark Moore with a twisted ankle for Tennessee, the most consistent defensive lineman, number 74. We'll get a report on how serious that injury is. Andy Kelly pops it over the middle, intended for Thomas. It's dropped out near the midfield mark. Thomas Woods is the man who may break the receiving records here of Tony McGee, career receiving mark. He needs 5 catches today to get to 124 in his career. But he's dropped a couple early.
Yes, he has, and he's got 29 catches this year, and they love to get him the ball in a hurry, in a hitch, because he's got great after-the-catch ability.
Thomas Woods is from Gallatin, Tennessee. His brother played. Carl was an excellent running back for Vanderbilt. Second down 10. Kelly all day to throw. Right across the middle, complete to Woods. At the 39-yard line of the Commodores, Steve Meads made the
Motion by Vanderbilt gave Woods enough time to come across behind Damon Winston. As Renford Reese turns him loose, you'll see him turn him loose into the inside of the zone. Woods keeps coming. Right in front of Woods is Damon Winston. Damon did not turn and locate that receiver. If he would have, he might have drifted back into the flight of the ball.
Gain of 24 yards, 1st and 10. From near the 40, here comes Greg Amsler. Amsler cannot turn the corner except for a yard or two. Amsler, a swing man. He plays fullback behind Roland Poles, but also can play at the tailback position, a junior from Chatham, New Jersey.
Yeah, and last year he backed up Keith Davis at the tailback position, and as you said, Bob, he's a utility player. He's a good enough blocker to operate at fullback for Johnny Major's Volunteers. But when it comes to knocking people out of the way, Poles is going to be in there. Amsler is more of the receiver.
Just gain of really inches on the play. Let's call it 2nd down 10. Just inside the 40. Kelly completes it to Thomas Woods. Woods goes down instantly at about the 37-yard line. 1st down stick inside the 30 at about the 29.5.
And a fine job by Reese coming up and making the stop on Woods. Oftentimes you'll see this tackle missed. It's a pretty harmless completion, but if you let a guy like Woods go by missing the 1st tackle, they're trying to get the matchup with Alvin Harper on the linebacker there, but Woods makes the catch. Reese comes up and puts him down. Good play by the senior.
4 receivers in there for Tennessee on the 3rd down 8 from the 37. He went back. Vanderbilt blitzing, wide open man-to-man coverage. Kelly had to get rid of it too soon, intended for Anthony Morgan. Steve Law was back there covering. And once again, Vanderbilt has stopped Tennessee's drive.
Well, Jim Hoffer is a quarterback coach here and is really proud of the progress that Andy Kelly has made. You're going to see the matchup they're really going for as they're lining up Alvin Harper in the backfield. We'll show you this as the game goes on at fullback, and then shifting him out, hoping to get a linebacker coverage.
Last time Elmore punted from about the same position. It only went 4 yards. This time, nearly blocked. He gets off a much better punt, though, that hits out of bounds. Actually, he shanked it. Let's see how far upfield they mark this. They're going to say it went out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. We'll be back in just a moment as they spot it at the 17. 19-yard punt by Elmore, marked at the 17-yard line of Vanderbilt. And you want to know how injured Vanderbilt is? Well, a man who played fullback for Vanderbilt in the first game of the year was switched over to help the defense. Sean Guerin, number 32, had to be moved back into the backfield again. He's in there right now for the Vanderbilt Commodores. And also Mark Moore shaken up for Tennessee. Their excellent, most consistent defensive lineman is out with an ankle injury, apparently. We're checking on that for you. And Kerry Bailey, a sophomore from Morgantown, West Virginia, is in their defense for the Volunteers. There's Sean Guerin.
And Tennessee's used to being behind in this game. 2 years ago, I think they were behind 28-3 and came back and put together 38 points.
1st down 10 Vanderbilt from the 17 of the Commodores. They lead 3-0. Healy on the option. Gets it back to Guerin, who handled it like a linebacker. Remember, he just practiced this week moving back to running back. He started the season back there. He's 5'11", 200, a sophomore from Royal Oak, Michigan.
That's the big difference between Watson Brown's arsenal and Johnny Major's arsenal. You know, you go 3 deep into Tennessee's running backs and you come up with Tony Thompson. You go 3 deep into Vanderbilt's arsenal, you come up with a linebacker.
This 2nd down 5 was a gain of 5. Here's Gaines. He's playing with a sore ankle today, by the way, leading receiver in the SEC. He's in the pass pattern now, and he's hit with a pass. Gets to the 30. 1st down Vanderbilt. Chazon Bradley made the stop, and Brad Gaines came in here with 61. That's his 62nd reception on the year.
And I don't imagine Brad has run a pattern longer than 10 yards. He reminds me of that old timer with the Miami Dolphins, Jim Kick. Comes out of the backfield, great football sense, can catch the ball in a crowd, but every pattern he runs is an option route. It's kind of like a touch football route. Get open, Brad, I'm throwing it to you.
4 minutes to go, 1st quarter. Vanderbilt leading 3-0, and as Tim pointed out at the beginning of the game, Vanderbilt's key is putting together drives. Another one underway. Brad Gaines catches this one at the 35 before he's knocked back. But they're going to spot him way out to the 36. Bradley and Hardy combining on the stop.
And that's all you need to do. What they're doing is on 1st down trying to change it up between the run and the pass. Tennessee being conservative defensively. They're going to play a zone, and Gaines just comes down, find a little open area, and boom, makes the catch. And what you have to do on defense is stay patient, stay patient.
Second down 4. 3:25 to go. First quarter. They leading 3-0. Guerin gets the first down, running hard across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Hobby makes his 4th tackle of the afternoon. It was Martin Williams who missed him initially, number 66, before Hobby got there.
And up front, Smith and Pearson and Brothen doing a fine job creating the seams. They're creating part of the seam with their alignment. They're lining up a little bit wider, and then they're just trying to pop that fullback in there. They're trying to catch Tennessee thinking about the perimeter and sneak one up the middle every once in a while.
Vanderbilt with 5 first downs in this first quarter. Healy can't get rid of it. Wisely held on to it this time. Is knocked down back there inside the 35. Bradley got him. The blitz was on. He faked. Nobody bought the fake. He looked up and all he saw was orange.
Good job of disguising the blitz to the last moment by Tennessee. He's got the pattern, but as you mentioned, Bob, doesn't really have time to look downfield before he has to look for survival.
Zon Bradley, sophomore, number 40, leading the middle linebacker for Tennessee. This is second down 17. He's going to give it to Guerin, who is hit instantly and dropped for another loss. Tennessee starting to adjust to this Vanderbilt spread formation. Casey Rogers, number 99, with a stop that time from Humboldt, Tennessee.
They're turning them loose a little bit here now. Unexpected, probably, second blitz in a row. Trying to run the draw into it. No room to go there. Little excitement, and that's what they've had on this football team. Where they've had enthusiasm from the last 5 games of last year through this game. They've won 14 out of their last 15.
Third down 19 Vanderbilt from the 33. Healy's going to run out. He's being pursued. Does he know it? Yes. It is complete to Corey Harris, short of the first down, but out to better field position from a Commodore point of view at the 46-yard line, a gain of 13. The quarterback pressure, that was 87, linebacker Darrell Hardy chasing Mike Healy, throwing on the run.
And in this particular series, as Watson talks to Healy, explaining what's happening, Tennessee chooses to create the pressure from the inside, Bob, and you'll see a mixture of that as the game goes on. They'll bring Hardy on the outside after Healy starts rolling out.
Watch out, Pickens is back to take this punt. Tennessee came after it, but look at the job done by David Lawrence. It hits into the end zone. It was a 54-yard punt, so special teams going Vanderbilt's way at the moment with a field goal to take the lead, and that 54-yard punt. First quarter of play. This week's Fruit of the Loom Classroom champion is Tennessee's John Coyne, a pole vaulting senior. John finished second in the '89 SEC Outdoors, vaulting 17 feet 3/4 inches and first indoors at 17 3 3/4 inches. A 3.62 GPA, majoring in finance. John Coyne, Fruit of the Loom's classroom champion for lasting quality and value. They fit America. 54-yard punt by Lawrence. Tennessee still scoreless late in the first quarter. Running it out to the 24-yard line. That is Clemens McCroskey, a redshirt freshman running it for Tennessee. He's from Shelbyville. I remind you once again that Chuck Webb, Tennessee's leading rusher, the second leading rusher in the SEC, is injured and with an ankle is not dressed today.
Let's watch DeMond Winston again, closing it down and pops him as he's been doing all year long. Young man from East Lansing, Michigan, had a great career here at Vanderbilt.
Gain of 4. This is second down 6. Here comes McCroskey. Nothing happening. He gets across near the 25. It was Allen Young, one of the true freshmen on Vanderbilt's team, and Ron Keith combining. Watson Brown has 17 true freshmen, 30 freshmen and sophomores on this football team. And what did he say? 6 seniors who are playing?
6 seniors, right? And, you know, when he gets the freshmen, he doesn't get them from the Metro Nashville area. You know, I mean, it's just like Allen Young comes from Woodstock, New York.
Third down 4. This could be the last play of the first quarter. Kelly's going to the air. Wide open over the middle. First down, Tennessee to the 37 to Vaughn Reeves, the tight end. And the clock down to 4 seconds remaining as the clock stops. Vaughn Reeves throws kisses to the stands after a gain of 11 yards. What would he do if he caught a touchdown pass?
Good disguise by Ron Case's Vanderbilt secondary here. They're looking to the outside. It's not there initially, and the linebackers for Vanderbilt just need to do a little bit better job locating the tight end. Winston needs to be closer.
That's the end of the first quarter, and Vanderbilt leads it 3-0. Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. 50 degrees, beautiful day for football. Surprisingly, Vanderbilt 1-9 on the year, leading Tennessee 3-0. Tennessee 9-1. The Volunteers have the ball. It is first down 10 at their own 36-yard line. The handoff goes to McCroskey. McCroskey hit and hauled down, but not until he crosses the 40 by Steve Meads. And here are the first quarter statistics. Not what we exactly expected. We expected Tennessee to dominate these statistics, but Vandy with a slight edge.
And Watson Brown coming out with a little different look, spreading out, getting out of the wishbone look into a one-back look, but actually running the same kind of options from that formation, trying to spread out the Tennessee defense. It's been effective early in the first quarter. Later on in the first quarter, Tennessee responding by blitzing inside, creating pressure for Healy and stymieing the Vanderbilt offense.
See that? Vanderbilt doubling Tennessee's yardage on first downs. The quick cross over the middle of Von Reeves again. This time knocked down at the 41-yard line by Chris Donnelly. That was Mark Adams' check at the backup tight end, number 83.
One of the limitations of this 4-3 Michigan State Pittsburgh look of George Perlis's is there is not much defense in depth. There's only one linebacker off the ball, and so you can be vulnerable to things like that.
Mark Adams only 7 catches on the year. On the first down 10. To the 20-yard line goes Clemens McCroskey before Chris Donnelly can catch him. A gain of 21 right up the middle, the redshirt freshman.
That time, very aggressive defense from Vanderbilt. You're going to see Damon Wilson looking at number 52. He jams it right up down in there. But don't give yourself up. Stay on your feet. You give up one-on-one, it's just like being blocked. And that turned the youngster loose, McCroskey loose into the secondary.
The deepest penetration of the afternoon for the Volunteers, just outside the Vanderbilt 20-yard line. Handoff to Amsler. Amsler's going to be stopped for a loss. Andy McCarroll hit him. It may mark his forward progress near the line of scrimmage. Andy McCarroll, another Vanderbilt player who plays that linebacker, fullback, depending on when they need him. He's locked in at fullback now, the senior, but he played locked in at linebacker. Played some fullback earlier.
Yeah, and he's twice been second-team academic All-American. He's going to be in New York with us, Bob, at the Hall of Fame banquet. He's one of the 11 young student athletes that's received a special award.
Second down, 11. Kelly on the run, completes the pass to Amsler, but not much gain. Down to about the 18, Robbie Young, the true freshman, who may be one day a quarterback at Vanderbilt, made the stop there, number 9. And here's where Vanderbilt's been effective later in the season defensively. A lot of teams get down here, they stiffen pretty well historically in the last half of the season.
I'm talking to Jim Hoffer, the quarterback coach here at Tennessee, and he said out of the 16 times that teams have been in scoring range against Vanderbilt, that means inside the 20, they've come away with 11 field goals. So Vanderbilt has been stingy when it comes to touchdowns.
Third down 9. Tennessee, 8th ranked in the country, trying to get at the end zone. Kelly lobbing. Incomplete off the hands of Harper and then Woods. That was third down 9. No penalty markers are down, although Harper wanted one, and that means that Vanderbilt did it again.
And once again, they're shifting Harper out of the backfield, trying to get a matchup. You see him, the second man in from your screen, on your screen down from the left. They're trying to get it to him over the top. Donnelly read the quarterback extremely well, forced the ball to be thrown up high. Couldn't get it in there.
Greg Burke, who's come on and kicked very well, attempts a 36-yarder to tie the game. It's good, and it's tied. 3-3 with 12:05 to go in the first half. So Tennessee got it down there inside the 20. Vanderbilt's defense stiffened, as they have so often this year. Burke just kicked a 36-yard field goal to tie this game at 3 with 12:05 to go in the first half. This is our last regular season SEC telecast on TBS, but coming up New Year's Eve, TBS Sports will bring you the inaugural Copper Bowl live from Tucson, Arizona. Tim and I will be there to bring you the action as Arizona hosts North Carolina State. The first Copper Bowl, brought to you by Breathless, begins at 8:05 Eastern Time here on TBS on New Year's Eve. Sounds like a tuxedo evening, Tim. I know you love that. On the kickoff, Corey Harris for Vanderbilt out to the 30-yard line. Scoring drive for Tennessee. 61 yards, 10 plays. Stalled inside the 20.
Had a good mixture of the run and the pass. A couple of fine runs by McCroskey. And that snowplow is getting wound up now, Bob. You know, that offensive line for Tennessee, you know, they're going to create some cracks. They're going to create some seams. It's a joy to run behind those guys.
First down 10. Vanderbilt from the 31-yard line. Gains in motion. Healy, the quarterback, the redshirt freshman. Can't find anybody. Goes on the run. Finally did get Harris, who drives out to the 38-yard line. One of the Vanderbilt players slow to get up over on the far side of the field. There's Healy, 6'1", 185, redshirt freshman from Cincinnati. That's Greg Smith, the left tackle, 6'8", 285, who is down.
Let's watch Marion Hobby, and he's just been a tremendous pass rusher this year. He's got a problem with his right shoulder, and that's the arm over shoulder, and he has a hard time driving that through, but he doesn't have any trouble driving Mike Healy to the dirt. But Healy's a tough guy. Grew up with I think it's 5 sisters and 3 brothers. You know, he had to fight for his food. He's not going to be a regular wimp quarterback.
This is senior left tackle Greg Smith, who's injured. We look at some scores from around the country. Pittsburgh out in front. Georgia Southern, 34 consecutive wins at home, and they lead Middle Tennessee State just down the road from Nashville and Vanderbilt's home territory. And that's pretty good news as Greg Smith is walking off the field under his own power. Let's hope that senior lineman there will be all right. His left guard, Charles Pearson, also a senior, but basically a young offensive line for Vanderbilt.
And Smith, he's starting his 33rd consecutive game. Started a couple games as a freshman, but he's just been very solid, very consistent for Vanderbilt over the last 3 years.
This will be second down 2. Vanderbilt normally would go over there on the left side. They do it anyway. Gaines with a one-handed catch, and then he can't hold it. Incomplete. Thought Gaines was going to make a brilliant reception there. Couldn't hold it.
Great effort by Brad Gaines. Runs that little option out in the flat. Instead of breaking it to the outside, breaks it back to the inside. Healy finds him. He knows he's going to find an open area. Can't quite find the handle on it. Peeks up a little bit. Takes a shot from Days, and McCleskey almost got it going the other way.
Kevin Dowling, another senior, in there at left tackle in place of the injured Greg Smith. This is third down 2. Healy with a little time. It is complete for the first down. Corey Harris breaking the tackle and also breaking the midfield barrier as he gets just inside Tennessee territory before Kelly Days makes the stop. A 12-yard gain, and Vanderbilt moving the ball against this Tennessee defense.
And they're doing it they're cutting their food up well here, Bob. They're not trying to take too big of bites. They know their limitations. Get it off in a hurry. Run the option routes, everything underneath. And as the game progresses, once or twice during this game, they'll max protect it, and they'll send Harris deep and try to throw it in over the top.
First down 10, right from midfield. Just under 11 minutes to go, first half. Tied at 3. Healy throwing on the run, complete once again to about the 44-yard line. Corey Harris with the reception. Shazan Bradley with his 6th tackle of the afternoon. And that was Harris' 4th reception. And Vanderbilt has now thrown for 74 yards and run for 32.
And you're seeing after the last series, you remember Tennessee made an adjustment. They started rushing their linebackers in the middle, blitzing. So what does Vanderbilt do now? He begins to roll out. Good stick there as Harris makes the reception. Takedown by Shazan Bradley.
Number 40, Bill Bates' number at Tennessee. Great defensive back here. Went to the pros, Dallas Cowboys. This is second down 4. Healy in some trouble. He's going to lose a couple. Once again, Tennessee decided to bring them. And you see Mark Moore, who was injured early, is back, number 74.
And that's one of the times where they were trying to get it in over the top. Civilian straight down the field. Harris straight down the field. But the pressure got there too fast.
Does Watson look slightly happy? Is that possible?
I think that Watson's happy with the way his team has handled this football season. They expected better things, but they've had some injuries, playing a lot of young people, and it's not easy to keep a team excited when you're 1-9.
They're tied with Tennessee. Tennessee ranked 8th in the country, 3-3 with 9.5 minutes to go. It's picked off almost and then dropped. It was intended for Gaines. Kelly Days, number 39, dropped it. Oh my, that was goal lines and headlines that he held it.
Here Tennessee comes blowing inside and just casting aside. Vanderbilt protectors and Days is there. That's why you play defense, Kelly. If you could catch, you'd be on the commercial side of the ball.
Commercial side is good. David Lawrence, redshirt freshman punter, had a 54-yarder to open. That's off another long. See if it's going to get in the end zone again. No, takes a Vanderbilt bounce, and it's going to be knocked down at about the 10-yard line. David Lawrence, the redshirt freshman from Rome, Georgia, with a 35-yard effective punt to put Tennessee just outside the Volunteer 10. Vanderbilt, Tennessee knotted at 3 with 9:14 remaining in the first half. A couple of former SEC basketball players will meet again tonight when Charles Barkley's 76ers visit Dominique Wilkins and the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks beat Utah last night. Wilkins with another brilliant game. Ron Thulin, Kevin Lockery will bring the action beginning at 7:35 Eastern Time here on TBS.
There's Greg Smith on the sideline, the senior left tackle, captain of the offense. Hate to see that.
Nice pack on his right knee. First down, 10 Tennessee from their own 10-yard line. Here's the handoff to Thompson, hit at the 8-yard line. Tony Thompson goes down. You know, Chuck Webb with a sore ankle didn't dress out today. Can they dress him at halftime?
Scotty Brown caught it from the backside. They were in their elephant formation, all those big linemen over to the right, and Scotty Brown came around at tight end from the backside and dragged down the running back for. He had a chance to crank it up.
8:48 to go in the first half. Tied at 3. Second down, 12 Tennessee. Here comes Thompson. Tony Thompson again. Out to about the 18 before Steve Meads finishes him off. The first down marker is at the 21-yard line. Yeah, they say Vanderbilt hits Tennessee very hard. Let's see if we can hear the hitting on this play.
There's some real fight. Look at number 36, Andy McCarroll, trying to break free of that tackle, and bang. Chris Donnelly, a good solid tackler, comes up, puts the finishing touches on Tony Thompson.
The answer is yes. You could hear it on third down, too. Andy Kelly strings it out to the right side for the first down to the 28 to Anthony Morgan. Renford Reese with the stop for Vanderbilt. Gain of 11 yards. Kelly on the day is 6 out of 11 for 69 yards. Vanderbilt quarterback Mike Healy, is 7 of 11 for 73.
And you really have to give credit to this Vanderbilt defense. I mean, they're seriously outmanned. Davis 306 blocking on Andy McCarroll that last time, 225, and McCarroll held up pretty well.
On the first down. Kelly throwing. Great one-handed grab by Greg Amsler, who is finally knocked out of bounds at the 48 by Chris Donnelly. Gain of 19 yards by Amsler. He had 20 receptions on the year coming into this game, something he does pretty well. Doesn't block as well as Poles, but catches better than Poles from that fullback spot.
And that time they used Morgan and Harper to run out the defensive backs, clear the area in the short flat there for Amsler. DeMond Winston trying to get there, can't get there in time. A nice tackle by Donnelly, covering up.
First down from the 37. Tied at 3. Middle of the second quarter from Knoxville. Tony Thompson, they turn him inside. The quarterback, or was it Steve Meads? Somebody came up from the defensive secondary to turn that inside, Tim. Nice play by the Vanderbilt defensive secondary on that play. Looked like there was some motion down there, but I don't see a penalty marker. Mike Delco's give him credit for the tackle on Derek Sark.
Well, that time Andy Andy Kelly changed the play on the line of scrimmage, and his tailback slid back a little bit, trying to get a better angle. It changed the play to a run, and there was nothing there as the Commodores surrounded Tony Thompson.
Number 15, freshman Carl Pickens in the game on 2nd down 9. They like to go to him deep when he comes in there. There he is. There they go. He can't get to it. Renford Reese and Chris Donnelly knew what we knew. 15's in here. Get deep.
It's like, sending Bob Hayes into the game, the former gold medalist. How Watson's saying, hey, wake up. You remember we told you about this guy? He's the guy with the jets in his pants. You got to back up.
He scored touchdowns virtually every way except on punt returns. He picked off a pass for a touchdown, reception for a touchdown, kickoff return for a touchdown. 3rd down 9. Kelly. Good time to throw. It's picked off. That's Meads. Meads gets it inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. It was intended for Alvin Harper. Meads picked it off and then returned it 12 yards. It's tied at 3 with 6:36 to go in the first half. And the first significant turnover in this ballgame goes to the Vanderbilt Commodores.
And this sophomore, Steve Meads, according to his coach, Ron Case, has been the most consistent player that they've had on defense in the secondary. He's not the most talented, but he produces game after game. That time, very heady, located the receiver in his area, was ready to move on the ball when Kelly put it in the air.
They spotted at the 43 of Tennessee. This game is tied at 3. Gaines in motion. Healy looking at a blitz, going to be hit from behind by 87, Darrell Hardy. Penalty markers, however, are down at the line of scrimmage. Been very few flags in this ball game thus far. That's Dick Burleson, the referee in the white hat, who will be telling you what the penalties are during the game.
That was a dead ball foul before the play ever began. It's a false start on the offense.
So that means it'll be the 5-yard penalty, of course, before the ball was ever snapped.
See Healy trying to get the ball and get out from the heat. Doug Matthews, the defensive coordinator here at Tennessee, has done a remarkable job since he took over, and he has really planned this defense well. And he, right now, apparently is tired of Vanderbilt completing all these little dinky passes, and he's going to come after him with some pressure.
Looked like Kevin Dowling, the replacement left tackle for the injured Greg Smith, was the man who moved on that play. First down 15. Vanderbilt. We have 6 minutes 31 seconds remaining in the first half of play, and Dick Burleson's going to get an officials timeout down here to make sure everything is straight with his officiating crew. By the way, since this is our last SEC game of the season, I know join Tim in saying what a great job these SEC officials do. If you're for one team or another, you often think that they don't do a good job, but when you have the objective view we have, day in, day out, they are exceptional.
Some people think only foreign companies build quality cars. Now
9 Vanderbilt 3, 9-1 Tennessee 3, with 6.5 minutes to go in the first half. Vanderbilt will have the ball first down 15 from the 48 after a Steve Meads interception of Andy Kelly.
If Vanderbilt was going to stay close today, they had to keep from turning the ball over, and they had to get some turnovers, and they've been fighting valiantly thus far.
Last time Vanderbilt won in Knoxville, in case you're wondering, 1975, when I was a mere baby. Healy out of the shotgun. Time to throw it. It is complete to Corey Harris. Inside the 45 to about the 44. Close to the first down, but not quite. Kelly Days made the stop. Gain of 13 yards.
And a good pattern by Harris. He set him up inside and then broke it to the outside, and Healy showing a strong arm.
Healy replaced John Gromos, the senior 6'5" pocket passer, but Vanderbilt found they could not protect or run. You got to run to protect the pocket guy, thus the insertion of Healy in there to spread him out a little more, and he's been effective. Here's Guerin. He breaks it up the middle. The linebacker turned fullback, gets to the 16-yard line. McCleskey trips him up. A gain of 19 yards by Sean Guerin.
Good grief.
And somebody down. Is it Guerin? Yes. Holding his right knee. And grief is the right word. McCleskey hit Guerin low on the tackle, certainly completely legitimately, but it was little 5'8" J.J. McCleskey hitting Sean Guerin and got him right around the knee area, and that's what they're looking at down there on the field. He's playing because Carlos Thomas, who had started in the backfield, was injured on the opening kickoff of this ballgame.
Let's watch it here. A short yardage play and a nice job of team blocking there. Bobby Craycraft coming down and Grant Clevey, and he took it right on the knee.
And we'll be back in just a moment to Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Hinton warming up for Tennessee. This game tied at 3. He started the year as the starting quarterback. Andy Kelly replaced him mid-season. May see him a little later. But right now, Vanderbilt, first down and 10 for the 16. By the way, Guerin's out of the game, but looks to be okay. He's the man who had the 19-yard run. Gaines in motion. Healy on the sprint. Here comes Hardy again. Healy into the end zone. Corey Harris. Incomplete, just past his outstretched fingertips. Carl Pickens covering on the play.
Nice throw, nice touch on the ball by Healy, going to his left, laid it up, or either Harris would make the catch for a touchdown or nobody'd get it, and Corey Harris almost came down with this one. Harris, a guy with big playability, got his eyes on the ball, good concentration. Wouldn't have been able to bring his feet down inbounds anyway, but a great effort.
Derek Gregg, Corey Harris in the ball game at the wideouts for Vanderbilt. Second down 10 from the 16 of Tennessee. Healy's putting out again. He couldn't find his receiver, had to tuck it in, and he was just swallowed, but a penalty marker goes down late. They got him at the 23. It was 88 Hayworth and 66 Williams who were back there on him after he decided not to attempt to throw the ball into the end zone. Maybe against Volunteers, however.
That time he's looking for Gaines on the option, Bob, and Tennessee doubled Brad Gaines.
Face mask on the defense.
This can be 5 or 15 yards, or in this case it'd be half the distance. Let's see what they decide to call on the play.
But Gaines came across in motion, and Denson was chasing him, but he laid inside, and then Kelly Days picked him up on the outside. They weren't going to let him get it into Brad Gaines that time.
So they give it a 5-yard non-flagrant face mask call against Tennessee. 5:10 to go in the first half, tied at 3. Vanderbilt has it inside the 20 thanks to the Steve Meads interception. Second down, 12. Single setback is Anthony Carter. Tennessee with the blitz. It is complete to Brad Gaines to the 6-yard line. Right at the first down stick. Keith Denson made the stop. It's on this side of the field. Looks like the first down reception by Gaines.
And it's hard to stop. Look at Gaines, number 44, third receiver in, breaks to the inside. Days makes a break inside, and Gaines rolls it back to the outside. Good read by Healy. Let's watch it again. Healy, he's going to Gaines. He's his man. He's a payday. Gaines comes up with the catch like he has over 65 times this year, and another clutch catch for Brad Gaines. And of course, there's a tradition of big plays in his family. Chris, an All-American at Vanderbilt in '87, and Greg playing with the Seahawks.
There's a big play, first down. First and goal, Vanderbilt at the Tennessee 6-yard line coming up at halftime, just 4:42 away. The Georgia Pacific halftime report. Craig Sager will bring you up to date with scores, highlights, plus a look at the great moments in football from throughout the year. We'll take a look at Tennessee's Pride of the Southland Band, all coming up at halftime. But right now, all eyes, I guess it would be about 180,000 pair, 180,000 eyes, 90,000 pair. I shouldn't get into the math, should I? They're focused down here on the Tennessee end zone. Gaines. Vanderbilt ball back at the 8-yard line. guard right at the 5. He's slow to get up. Gaines, number 45, is laying down right on the 5-yard line. Now up was Healy, the quarterback, who fell on it.
And he took a shot. You know, there was a question as to whether Brad Gaines would play today. As you mentioned, Bob, he's got an injured ankle, and now this is where the big boys play, and this is where you can't get real fancy. You can't get too tricky. You got to try to run over them, and Vanderbilt is not equipped to do that. They're going to call a timeout, as a matter of fact, and talk over their strategy.
So Mike Healy was very alert to fall on the fumble by Brad Gaines, and they'll spot the ball at the 8.5-yard line with 3:51 to go in the first half. Tied at 3, less than 4 minutes to go in the half. Vanderbilt knocking at the Tennessee door. Sean Guerin, the fullback who had the 19-yard run to help set this touchdown threat up for Vanderbilt, is back in the game, number 32. Out of the shotgun, Healy. He's going to run it. Throws it into the end zone. Batted down at the last second by big play free safety Carl Pickens. Intended for Nabil El-Shishai, the backup tight end. Healy decided to tuck it. And there's Pickens knocking it down, and Guerin was shaken up again on the play while we looked at that replay, and he's being helped off the field on the far side. He has a linebacker mentality. He can be playing fullback if you want to. They had to drag him off the field both times he's been shaken up.
Well, he's got a bad knee there, and what happens is you get your adrenaline running, and when you're just jogging on the sidelines, you feel like you can play. But if you try to stress that thing and put some pressure on it, it starts to talk to you.
3rd down, 8, Vanderbilt. This game tied at 3. Now pressure on Healy into the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for 17. Clarence Civilian. Penalty markers are down. J.J. McCleskey really tagged Civilian in the end zone. The penalty marker out there at about the 2 or 3 yard line. That was 3rd down also.
Pass interference on the defense.
2 big penalties against Tennessee since Vanderbilt's been down here inside the 20.
Healy coming back's got to get rid of it in a hurry. It's up in the air, and good play by McCleskey.
I know you didn't see that pass interference, did you? That was real close. They spotted at the 2.5-yard line. 1st down and goal, Vanderbilt. Tied at 3, 3.5 to go in the first half.
Johnny Majors knows that championship football teams play big defense, big play defense, and they've got to come up with those plays at critical times. This is a critical time.
Healy to Brad Gaines off the left side. Hit right at the line. Tried the left side. I don't know if it was Mark Moore who hit him over there first or not, but that's who anchors that area along with Hobby, Ernest Fields, Bradley. James Wilson's in there too.
And look at this. It looks like Gaines is going to go in. And pow! He runs into a couple of them. I think that was Ernest Fields in there. And Watson nodding knowingly. Now he's not talking. He's pretending that he's on the headsets there. You know, he's used to having those headsets on. He's talking to himself a little bit.
2nd down goal. They spotted just outside the 1-yard line. 2nd down, Vanderbilt. Trying to penetrate the goal line. Brad Gaines tries the left side on the dive. Touchdown, Vanderbilt on the 2nd effort. It looked like Gaines was stopped. He slammed into a concrete wall. Then the wall crumbled. He got into the orange and striped checkerboard for a Vanderbilt touchdown.
Well, he tried to launch himself into the end zone. Tennessee denied him the end zone, and all of a sudden he landed back on his feet, spun off, and slid inside. Great effort by Brad Gaines.
And his first rushing touchdown of the year. Clark for the point after. Well, they're going to be talking about this around the country when the scores come up at halftime. Clark for the point after. It is good. And Vanderbilt Vanderbilt leads Tennessee 10-3. That so shocked the system here at Neyland Stadium that the scoreboard clocks went out. I don't think they were set. The computers weren't set to have a Vanderbilt lead. And it's turned them upside down. They're trying to get them back in order.
Now, but the thing here is, you know, Vanderbilt's lost 9 games, and let's watch this again. This is just a great single effort here by Brad Gaines. Look at it. He leaves the air. He's not in. Hardy keeps him out. He comes back down on the ground, though, keeps his legs going and gets into the end zone. That's just a super, super individual effort by Brad Gaines.
As you look at Watson Brown, Tim, you know, announcers like us who say, hey, anything can happen in this game, people kind of laugh when you think of the 25-point spread. When the coaches say the same thing. Tennessee with a 9-1 record, up there really with a chance to tie for the conference championship today, depending on what happens with Alabama, Auburn, and Vanderbilt with only 1 win.
Exactly, but you never know what's in the mind of a young man. As you saw Alabama on top, of course, Alabama, Auburn playing this afternoon in a big game. And Vanderbilt 0-7. A disappointing year, a lot of injuries. Watson Brown and his staff trying to keep that the mental attitude of his team healthy, trying to keep them thinking on a positive note, as you said. But the major ingredient in this game is that there's a little, you know, a good, wholesome hate between these two teams. And as Johnny pointed out, Majors pointed out in his interview, you just don't want to lose to Tennessee and if you're on Vanderbilt, and you don't want to lose to Vanderbilt if you play for Tennessee.
Now remember our LSU-Tennessee telecast when Carl Pickens returned the kickoff. Vanderbilt's going to try to stop that by squibbing it, giving him a little more time. It bounces past Morgan, who's going to down it in the end zone. That was close. That's a touchback. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. Very intelligent kickoff call by Vanderbilt on that play, because Morgan or Pickens can take it all the way. 43 yards, 9 plays. That drive happened after the Steve Meads interception.
A big play by the Vanderbilt defense, and this year their defense has been keeping them close. Rick Christoffel, the new offensive coordinator on defense, has done a great job as Sterling Hinton enters the game for Tennessee.
We saw him warming up on the sideline. 2:57 remaining in the first half. Hinton, the man who can run it and throw it, runs it. Look at this. Out to the 36-yard line. This is part of this tremendous arsenal that Johnny Majors had. There's a player down on the field, a Tennessee Volunteer, at about the 27. But Hinton, Kelly the better passer, Hinton clearly the better runner. That is Antone Davis, the great right tackle.
Let's watch this. Here's the dimension that Hinton brings to the action. Running the option, a good chop block, gets McCarroll on the ground. He fakes the toss, and now, you know, who do you want to have handle the ball, the tailback or the quarterback? Most of the time, you want to have the quarterback handling the ball, but Sterling can hat it up, and he's just as dangerous as Tony Thompson is carrying the football. So that's another dimension. Containment on the perimeter of the run that you have to be really concerned about if you're Vanderbilt on defense now.
Looks like Davis is all right. He walks off under his own power. These two tackles at Tennessee, Charles McCray and Antone Davis, and today Doug Baird playing a lot, are about as good as there are. Myslenski, the left guard, Eric Still, the right guard, Fisher, the center. A tremendous offensive line at Tennessee, but they have been unable to get the job done against Vanderbilt today in terms of getting it into the end zone, as the Commodores lead 10-3, and the scoreboard clock has gone down again here at Neyland Stadium, and that's one of the reasons for the delay. Tennessee coming out to the ball, but the referee on the far sideline talking to the officials who are handling that scoreboard clock.
It's a good thing that Antone Davis could get off the field on his own power. They need a front loader to get him up on a stretcher. If they had to, they'd have to have 20 people carry him off the field. He's a big, big man.
I'm convinced that the scoreboard here just not ready to accept the 10-3 score, and it's shorting the computer out. Dick Burleson, the official, have to check with the sidelines, with the timers, and with both coaches to let them know it's approximately 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Johnny Majors has to be concerned about what he sees here. This is a game, if you're a coach for Tennessee, head coach, assistant coach, that you'd like to get on top early, get it out there 14-0, 17-0, and let's relax a little bit. Let's give our acid indigestion some rest for one Saturday afternoon anyway. Let's save it up for the Cotton Bowl or for the Sugar Bowl or whatever's next for us. But as destiny would have it, these Vanderbilt guys are playing a lot bigger than they are.
What a great career Johnny Majors has had. We talked to him yesterday in his new offices, by the way. The new athletic complex here at Tennessee is unbelievable. May show you some film of that a little bit later. But it was not since that 75-76 series of games with Pittsburgh that Johnny Majors has had this kind of 2-year win streak going. Here's Hinton, the option again. This time only a couple of 3 yards. He gets to about the 38 before being hauled down by Doug Bradley. We'll keep an unofficial look at the time for you as the scoreboard clock is down. It's inside 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
And this is where Jim Hoffer, the quarterback coach here at Tennessee, and Johnny Majors have had to do an emotional juggling act. They're playing Andy Kelly, but they had to keep Sterling Hinton happy because you never knew when this was going to happen, when you needed to use him again.
Hinton gets right up and runs into the Vanderbilt player. It was Bradley who had been knocked down at about the 30 by the Tennessee blocker. He got back up. Derek Sarter was there too, and Bradley got him.
And Bradley's been playing with an injured shoulder all year long, had been out of a couple of games, played a little bit last week, but this time fights back up to his feet after he was chopped. And you know, Hinton obviously trying to make some big plays, trying to make something happen. You sit on the bench, you watch somebody else really do your job, take your position. Nobody wants to be sitting on the sidelines. Sterling has handled it well emotionally, but anybody that'd be disappointed. Watson wants him to take away the football, get the ball back.
They're going to call it 3rd down 14. Tim, you and I have been seeing a lot of SEC games this year as usual. We named an all-conference team today. Let's take a look at some of them. I'll have you explain why you selected these players. That way you can take the heat.
All right. Gary Hollingsworth, you know, we've seen some great quarterbacks in the SEC. This year we saw Hodson have a career day, and I've never seen a quarterback play better than he did that day. But as far as a complete season, I think you have to give the nod to Hollingsworth. Rodney Hampton, I love him. He plays when he's healthy, plays when he's hurt. He's a team guy, and he's dangerous with the football, catches the ball all around tailback. Poles, you know, that's kind of a different choice, but he's a fullback that does the job, gets people on the ground. He got them all on the ground all year for Webb and Cobb.
Blue-collar guy.
You bet. You know, John Hudson, center at Auburn, consistent player. Ed King and Pfeiffer is back and playing well after being injured. Eric Still here at Tennessee, and Kurt Mull at Georgia.
3rd down 14. Timeout is over. Tennessee back out there. Vanderbilt leading 10-3. Around 2 minutes to go. Scoreboard clock is down. Oh, and so is Roland Poles. Renford Reese hit him. Poles, normally the guy who weighs 250 pounds. Reese, 200, giving up 50 pounds. He got Poles down. There's a penalty marker down also on the play. Reese, very intelligent senior, a man who's really given a lot to Vanderbilt in terms of leadership in the secondary.
And he's played 3 different positions, and I think he's found a home.
On the offense, okay?
Well, Tennessee self-destructing with penalties. You know, this is reading the mind of the players. Certainly I'm not capable of it, but in a game like this with Tennessee 9-1, being a little flat no matter what Coach Majors told them, sometimes that's where the mental mistakes come into play.
You know, you can't help but be a little bit off your game. It's hard. Let's watch it. Doug Baird may have a hold of, and the center gives him a little help, gives him a hold, gets a hold of Doug Bradley and pulls him down to the ground as Hinton lets the ball go.
Wasn't a first down, so it was declined by Vanderbilt, the penalty. They took the play. Corey Harris will be back to take the Kent Elmore punt. Line drive, going to get over the head of Corey Harris and bounce into the end zone. And Vanderbilt will have less than 2 minutes to go. Our scoreboard clock is down here at Neyland Stadium. That was a 63-yard punt. Scoreboard clock is out at Neyland Stadium, but the score, yes, that's right, in case you're dialing in late. Vanderbilt 10, 8th-ranked Tennessee 3, 1 minute, 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Here's the draw play. That is Anthony Carter, and Carter gets it out here for a first down to the 33-yard line. J.J. McCleskey came up and made the stop after a gain of 13 yards.
And watch Watson Brown, I think, initially wanted to just run the clock out. He didn't want to take a chance with the football down in this area of the field. But all of a sudden, pow, he's out to the 33-yard line as Carter takes off. Put it away, protect the football. Good hit there by Rogers coming over and cleaning up on him.
Vanderbilt offensive line opening up some holes against this Tennessee defense for the Vanderbilt runners today. First down 10 out of the shotgun. Healy tried to get to Gaines, missed it. It'll be second down. Now about a minute remaining in the first half. Vanderbilt leading at 10-3. One thing that you're thinking about if you're Watson Brown and Johnny Majors, but Watson Brown knows that Johnny has more weapons. He has more depth, and that's where Vanderbilt sometimes can get in trouble in the second half.
Yeah, and I think the thing that Watson has to protect most against is just expectations. I mean, 9 times this year they've come up on a short end of the stick. 9 times that man's team, Johnny Majors, has come up with more points, and so you expect to win if you're 9-1, and you got to fight expecting to lose if you're 1-9.
Here's the same draw to Carter again. This time grabbed by the ankles by Marion Hobby. Coming up at halftime, Craig Sager will be in our studios in Atlanta. We'll have scores, highlights from around the nation. We'll also take a look at the Tennessee marching band. Also some of the highlights from this college football season. What a season it's been. Big debate on who's the best team out of the top 5 in the country. Big debate on the Heisman Trophy. That'll be announced today. And Andre Ware was my choice. Will be a winner. Houston. 3rd down 11. Vanderbilt. Less than a minute to go. First half. Healy. Gaines gets way out here near midfield to the 48-yard line. Hardy makes the stop. Vanderbilt goes over 100 yards in the air with that gain of 16, and Vanderbilt has rushed for 53 in this first half.
And Gaines is just an expert at running that option. He's just setting that man up inside, then breaks it to the outside. Healy, that's all he's looking for is Gaines.
Gaines has 3 catches today. That means 64 receptions on the season. He leads the league in receptions. 5 seconds remaining in the first half. So this will probably be the last play of the first half. Healy is just going to throw it long and out of bounds, and that'll end the first half of play. And Vanderbilt with a surprising 10-3 lead over the 8th-ranked Volunteers of Tennessee. Now let's go to our Atlanta studios where Craig Sager's standing by with all the scores and highlights from other college action.
Back over 60 years, the stadium was built as a monument to Robert Reese Neyland. A West Point grad in 1916, Neyland came to Tennessee by appointment in 1925. Except for 2 military interruptions, the general coached the Vols from 1926 through 1956. Brilliant and inspiring were frequent definitions of Neyland, who compiled 173 wins in 21 seasons. His 1939 team not only went undefeated, but was also unscored upon. Neyland also won a national championship at Tennessee in 1951. The legendary coach always finished his pregame speeches with "We will win," because they do not have the background. Top 5, but clinging to a 3-point lead with less than a minute to play.
Favre, toss to the end zone, touchdown, beautiful play call. Anthony Harris, the tight end, with 23 seconds remaining in the game. Southern Miss 30, Florida State 26, and Favre is dancing at the 50-yard line. He's going nuts, and you see the look on the Seminole sideline.
Southern Miss would go on to a disappointing 5-6 record, but in the Golden Eagles' 7th game, they achieved one of the most dramatic moments of 1989. Trailing Louisville 10-9, the Eagles had time for just one final play.
3 wide receivers, left side, 1 to the right side. Favre drops back to throw, under pressure, scrambles right, gets away from Washington. He's going to throw it as far as he can down the field. It is tipped and caught by Tillman. Tillman at the 20, the 15, the 10, touchdown USU!
And that receives my vote for the player of the year. Meanwhile, upstate in Oxford, the Ole Miss Rebels put together a fine 7-4 record that included a win over bull-bound Florida and this last-minute rally over Georgia.
No huddle, second down 4, clock running. You see it in the bottom right, 36 seconds. Darnell lofts it into the end zone. Reed Hines, touchdown, Ole Miss!
Alabama's perfect 10-0 record saw several anxious moments during 1989, but none so close as this finish against Penn State.
This was Penn State's 6th straight win and Alabama's first loss of the year. High snap, it's blocked. The kick is blocked and recovered by Alabama.
The Florida Gators battled adversity all year long, but one Saturday night in Baton Rouge, they finally got a break. With the score tied at 13-all, the Gators moved into LSU territory. Emmitt Smith, the All-SEC running back, failed to get out of bounds, so the clock continued to run. As the Gators hurriedly lined up for one play, quarterback Kyle Morris came in, trying to stop the clock before it ran out. But as you see, time runs out. However, the game clock showed no time remaining, but the officials ruled that the gun had not yet sounded.
Nichols calls for the ball, set down. Krzyzewski's kick is up, end over end. It's long enough, it's up, and it is good! And Florida has won the football game!
The clock was not as kind to the Gators a few weeks later at Auburn. The Tigers had no timeouts left and were facing a 4th and 10 with the clock running. When Reggie Slack found a wide-open Shane Wasden in the corner of the end zone, giving Auburn a 10-7 victory and keeping alive their hopes for the share of the conference crown. And of course, the big moment coming up for Auburn as they take on Alabama in a few moments. We'll be back with first half highlights, but first, the pride of the Southland Band from the University of Tennessee.
Back here in Knoxville, Tennessee, Mr. Miami, Tim Foley, with his heavy top coat on. It's 52 degrees. Lovely day for a football game. But as long as you're comfortable, that's all that really matters.
Thank you.
In the first half, Vanderbilt 2 minutes more possession time, converted a turnover into a touchdown, and Tennessee only rushed for 76 yards. That's much of the story.
Really amazing. And I think they got away from the run. I think you'll see them coming back in the second half and getting serious about this thing. They certainly have their attention by now. And Vanderbilt's offensive plan working exceptionally well. Spread them out, hit them quick up the middle, throw it on the outside, the option to gains.
A couple of years ago, Vanderbilt had a real big lead at halftime, 28-3 if I recall. Tennessee came back with 35 second half points to win that game. They can come back, folks, so it could be a really interesting second half. Let's have a look at the statistical story of the first half, see what we're talking about here. We expected Tennessee to be dominating in the score and statistically, but not so.
And as you mentioned, Bob, the one big play by Steve Meads, the interception that gave Vanderbilt field position and a chance to put a touchdown on the board.
No turnovers. Vanderbilt was last in the conference in turnover ratio, and today they have the turnover, and they converted that after a couple of key penalties. Tennessee had only 2 penalties, which Vanderbilt accepted in the first half, and both of those were critical in that touchdown drive after the Steve Meads interception. So Watson Brown clenching his teeth. What did you say about that jacket? Should he go on to win there? You see him in his flight jacket.
I think if you see him in his flight jacket there, Watson, Johnny's always sharp looking in his sport coats, but Watson may never take that flight jacket off again if Vandy pulls out a win here.
He's selling flight jackets in Nashville. It's 10-3. Vanderbilt leading Tennessee, ready to begin the second half from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee. Tennessee 8th ranked, headed almost certainly to the Cotton Bowl, potentially tying for the conference championship if Auburn were to beat Alabama today. This is Civilian, who picked it up and fell down at the 25. The up back, Clarence Civilian, just couldn't get any momentum, couldn't get his body underneath, his feet underneath his body, and the redshirt freshman fell down, but at the 24-yard line. Here's what happened in the first half in terms of possessions. First of all, for Vanderbilt, the opening drive, a field goal, a couple of punts, and then the touchdown. And look at the good field position from whence Vanderbilt had a chance to start their offense.
And the other thing to notice there is 12 plays, 7 plays, 6 plays, 9, 5, never 3 and out.
First and 10 Vanderbilt at the 24. This volunteer crowd is definitely into the game now. They got their attention. Diving grab by Clarence Civilian, the redshirt freshman from Flint, Michigan, way out here to the 43-yard line, a gain of 15.
And on this play, they expected a blitz from Tennessee. If Tennessee's going to pressure us, we'll fire it down the middle. Healy goes back and rifles that ball in there, and Civilian, a little embarrassed after the kickoff, goes up, protects the ball, makes the catch with Benson on him.
First and 10 from the 43. Vanderbilt tries to run it, gets a couple. That's Anthony Carter, hit hard by Marion Hobby. Penalty markers down in the Tennessee secondary.
Well, it looked like Civilian and McCleskey were going at it a little bit.
Tennessee indicating it's going to be against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt did very well in the penalty department. No critical ones in the first half, but this could be big.
Dead ball foul, personal foul against the offense.
That's a big one. There's Watson. Calm down.
Healy having a great game. 11 out of 19. Been picture perfect. The ball was at risk only one time. Kelly Days almost had an interception, but he's thrown it well, made good decisions. He was ready to play this game.
First down, 24. They spotted at the 29-yard line after the personal foul against Clarence Civilian. Healy on the option. Carter out here near the 40. Casey Rogers making the stop for Tennessee. Now the first down stick after that penalty is all the way inside Tennessee territory at the 47 of Volunteers. Johnny Majors told his team, he told us, I don't care if we're 8th ranked, if we've won 9 and Vanderbilt's won 1 and winless in the conference. I know this will be a dogfight. It's hard to even believe that sometimes. We're seeing it here today.
It is, and that's the toughest sell, because if you wait till you're on the football field to believe that, it could be a long afternoon.
Third down, 13, Vanderbilt. Out of the shotgun. Penalty markers down. Incomplete at the 38-yard line, trying to hit Civilian on a crossing pattern, but a penalty marker in the Vanderbilt offensive backfield. Brad Gaines is the man who may have committed the infraction, number 44. Illegal motion against the Commodores. So penalties playing a role here in Vanderbilt's attempt at maintaining ball control, and they're going to have to give it up.
Now Vanderbilt. Illegal motion on the offense. The offensive back did not stop after the huddle. Decline, 4th down.
Vanderbilt's coming out in this first series, and they're throwing it down the field. You see Gaines moving? They didn't call that. They said he didn't go back to the huddle is what the call was, but Healy fires it downfield. They're going to throw the ball downfield in the second half.
Here is David Lawrence punting to Pickens at the 20. He is dangerous. But Vanderbilt covers well, and Pickens goes down at the 25. 40-yard punt. Pickens got 5 before they hauled him down. Vandy leading it by 7. 13:20 to go, third quarter. Vanderbilt leading Tennessee surprisingly in the third quarter with 13:20 remaining. Tennessee, powerful team this year. They had a big, powerful team in '85 with a strong finish, too. And a big meeting between these two teams as Tennessee came into that game 7-1-2 and needing a win to clinch an outright conference championship, their first in 15 years. And the Vols came out 30-0 winners that day and went on to beat Miami in the Sugar Bowl. But today, the 9-1 Vols, big problems, at least here early in the third, trailing 10-3. They now have the football, first down 10 at the 25-yard line. Andy Kelly, the starting quarterback, back in there as the trigger man in the second half. Hinton had played briefly toward the end of the first. And to Tony Thompson out to the 28. Here's what Tennessee did with the ball, Tim, in the first half.
And 8 plays in the first drive, and they came out, they were moving the football, they just haven't made the big play. They had an opportunity on that first drive, Bob. Woods dropped a pass. Renford Reese made a great play on a long throw. If Tennessee would have scored on a big play right off the bat, it would have been a whole different football game.
Pickens in there, number 15 on second down 6 for Tennessee. Kelly with a play fake. He's looking for Pickens deep. Oh, he goes over the middle. It is complete to the tight end. Mark Adams to the 33, and like everyone else, I'm watching Pickens. Vanderbilt was watching Pickens. Kelly was watching for Adams.
Johnny Majors has this is business face on. And what this is a two-deep zone, and Kelly unloads it right away to the tight end down the middle for the big play. As you mentioned, Donnelly had slid over outside, watching for Pickens.
Tony Thompson struggling inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Damon Winston with the stop. Tennessee loosening it up here, airing it out a little bit. Pickens was open for a short while down this sideline, and it looked to me like Kelly was just going to rear back. But when we looked at the replay, he had his eyes on Adams almost the whole time.
He did. He was assuming that Vanderbilt would pay special attention to Pickens, because when he's in the football game, they feature him.
Here's the pitch to Thompson behind Poles. Poles with a good block. Thompson to the 15. Credit Roland Poles with the spring block there. Steve Meads finished it off, gain of 13.
Chris Donnelly a little slow getting up here. Pickens split down to the bottom of your screen, and look at these guys move. Eric Still, man, he puts a hit on Damon Winston, and Thompson's into the secondary. Meads is there. Robbie Young is there.
Tennessee started this drive with their 25. It's first down at the Vanderbilt 15. Thompson right up the middle to about the 13-yard line. Meads comes up to make the play again.
And what they need to do is just establish their dominance. What can happen is that when you feel if you're a more powerful football team, you can get lost doing things on the side, get away from your major game. And for this football team, that's just running over people, getting those linemen shoulder to shoulder together and creating some holes for these running backs.
Tennessee ran for only 76 yards in the first half, 26 yards already on this drive here in the third quarter. Second down 8. Thompson behind Poles again. Thompson to about the 9. Damon Winston comes up to make the play.
And that time, Doug Baer just did an exceptional job on Andy McCarroll. Of course, Andy's given away almost 70 pounds, but they've got a mismatch on the line of scrimmage. They've got a tackle working against a strong side linebacker and a small strong side linebacker at that.
Tennessee only 3 of 8 on third down conversions today. This is third down 4 at the 9 of Vanderbilt.
Well, Vanderbilt is second in the SEC in preventing third down conversions.
Try it again with Sam Thompson. Has some running room. Reese comes up. It is short of the first down. Penalty markers down. He would have picked up the first down. Let me correct that. Reese and Keith come over to make the play. There is a flag on the play. Thompson needed to get past the 9. Holding against Tennessee. It was 3rd and 4. It was a first down carry. Vanderbilt will probably take it. You can see Watson Brown telling what to do right now. That should make it third down 14.
And once again, Vanderbilt coming up with the plays when they have to on defense. Johnny Majors trying to figure out a way to get into the end zone against Vanderbilt. Against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech kicked 6 field goals against Vanderbilt. Never really let them sniff the end zone. And they've been tough down here. And it's just a matter of playing with heart and some good defensive design.
Officially third down 15 as they spot it back at the 20-yard line. So a third down conversion toughie for Tennessee. Thomas Woods, Vincent Moore, Terrence Cleveland, Alvin Harper, 4 receivers, 5 defensive backs for Vanderbilt. Kelly under some pressure. He's going to go down back at the 36-yard line. Derek Sarter. Oh my, a loss of 16. Sarter with credit on half a sack earlier, so that's 2 he's been in on today.
Well, this time Kelly gets something that he doesn't expect. He's looking back to Woods, looked into the weak side, but it's not there, and Sarter's in his face before he knows it.
Vanderbilt with a couple of sacks today and an interception and a very big play on that one. They've spotted back here to the 31-yard line, 36, and is that out of field goal range? It's pretty close with no tee.
It'll be 4th down, 31. Looks like they're going to. Well, let's hold it. They can't decide what to do, Tennessee. Ken Elmore is going to go. He's going to punt the ball. So Elmore goes in. We'll try to get it down inside the 20-yard line. Now there's going to be more penalty yardage against Tennessee. They may have let that clock run down to take the 5-yard delay of game. I did not get the signal from the official. It's delay of game. 5 yards. Elmore a little more punting room. Harris back at his 10. Elmore is going to rocket this one into the end zone and out of the end zone. So Vanderbilt will get the ball 1st and 10 at the 20. Punt of 41 yards. Excellent defensive series, and Tennessee shot themselves in the foot. He moved it quickly downfield. A big penalty hurt him. They couldn't convert on 3rd down. The punt went into the end zone. Vanderbilt leads at 10-3 and has the ball 1st and 10 at their 20. Time to see what you know about SEC football, brought to you by Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. There's the question: who holds the SEC all-time single-game rushing record? Walker, Jackson, Smith, or Mordecai? And the answer is, which name you wouldn't think would belong in that? It's Frank Mordecai from Vanderbilt. 329 yards versus Air Force in 78. Emmitt Smith came within 3 this year, 318 versus New Mexico. 1st and 10. Vanderbilt from the 20, leading 10-3, 8:57 to go, 3rd quarter. Healy looking for Gaines, couldn't get it. Gaines with 4 catches in the first half. Harris with 5.
Now they've run that little option, that little short option, Bob, and they run it, and they run it, and they run it. Now the Tennessee defensive backs are really jumping it. They're really playing it hard. And before long, you're going to see Gaines, even though he doesn't have much speed, he'll run that little out option and then boom, turn it upfield. And if they can get enough protection, Healy will have a long completion.
2nd down 10, Vanderbilt from the 20. Healy gets to the 24. Fake to Carter, kept it, got around the end. Healy is the redshirt freshman quarterback. He replaced John Gromos when Vanderbilt couldn't move it out of the pocket. But there are a couple of other players, like Robbie Young is on defense right now, and true freshman Marcus Wilson, who may even step in ahead, or at least have the chance to compete for that job with Healy next year.
Yeah, they weren't close to ready to play this year. Of course, Robbie Young is a starter on defense, playing for Steve Law, and due to his injury, Healy doing a fine job.
3rd down 6. Healy has, it's batted down. He had a man open out there, but Hobby got it. Big play by Marion Hobby. 3 downs and out for Vanderbilt. Hobby's had himself a whale of a game today. 6 tackles.
Let's see him working here. Healy's set up. He's going for the curl, but Hobby gets his arm up there and knocks the ball down. Pickens sitting in the middle of the field, and that's where he loves to play.
Pickens also loves to take this punt with good field position potential. He's 35. Lawrence with a wobbly end-over-end punt. It gets a Vanderbilt bounce. It's going to go out of bounds down here at the 25-yard line. So a good job, 51 yards of punting. David Lawrence, the redshirt freshman, has done good work for Vanderbilt today.
For your all-SEC defensive football team now, there's one of those rascals right there, Damon Winston. He's one of the middle linebackers. You see up front, Willie White, Alabama, Barnett, Kentucky, Bill Goldberg from Georgia, and of course McCants and Winston in the middle, Ogletree and Lewis on the outside. Now in the secondary, 2 of the most active cornerbacks in the league, John Mangum and Ephraim Thomas. Both of them have almost 20 passes broken up. They've been around the football. Ben Smith with 8 interceptions at Georgia, and Bo Russell at Mississippi State.
And Riley the punter and Casey the kicker. I knew you'd leave them on. And as of today, clearly Bill Curry, our choice of coach of the year. Johnny Majors obviously a contender for that as his bat died. But as of today, Bill Curry has done a whale of a job with the tremendous job he's done with Alabama this year, playing Auburn today on the Plains. But that man, you know, it's a coin toss. He has 9. He's 9-1. Tennessee could win this game today. They're trailing. Win this game, win the Cotton Bowl, and have an 11-win season.
11 win, and tack that on to 5 wins at the end of last year. Just a total resurgence and metamorphosis of their football team.
On the second down, Thompson can't get outside. There is Damon Winston. Saw Alan Young in the picture, 258. He's one of the 17 true freshmen on this Vanderbilt team.
And who are these freshmen anyway? Those big Tennessee lines, who are these little people running around getting in our way? They better start clearing them out of the way pretty soon here.
Third down 4, Volunteers. Only 3 of 9 on third down conversions. Kelly under pressure. Completes it to Poles. Big catch by the fullback to the 39-yard line for the first down. Scott Brown made the tackle, gain of 8 yards. Poles not known as a receiver coming into this game, only 3 catches all year.
And that's 2 today. Let's look at it work here. And they're not concerned about Poles. You can see the linebacker, Steve Brown, sinking back in on the curl because they just haven't thrown the ball to Poles. Let him run the route. They're not going to throw it out there. Well, Kelly confused him that time.
First down from the 39. Kelly right over the middle. Almost picked off by number 5, Chris Donnelly. Kelly threw it into coverage intended for Mark Adams. Alan Young was trying to cover him, but it was Donnelly who came over to him.
Exactly, and a great job by Alan Young here. You see Damon Winston reading the quarterback, but Young in pursuit just about gets his hand on it. Donnelly breaks in on the ball. Very active freshman, true freshman Chris Donnelly with 5 interceptions. Been a real find for Vanderbilt in the middle of the field.
Second down 10, Tennessee. Thompson tries the right side, broke 1 tackle. Tough running by Tony Thompson to the 45. Meads made his 7th tackle. Gandolfo almost had him in the backfield. Remember, Chuck Webb is not playing today. Tennessee's leading rusher, the redshirt freshman with a sore ankle, did not even dress out for the ball game. It's hurt Tennessee's running game.
Well, whenever you take a guy like that out of the lineup, I mean, when you hand the ball to him, that's an exceptional athlete. And he might have ripped off a long one on some of the longer runs that Tennessee has had. He might have got it into the end zone.
3rd and 3. Kelly, quick toss. It is complete for the first down to the 48 to Thomas Woods. And let's check on Woods. He has a chance to break the Tennessee career receiving record. He has 3 today. His next reception will tie Tim McGee at 123 career receptions. If he gets 2 more, he will be the all-time record holder career for Tennessee. Under 6 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Vanderbilt leading 10-3. Tennessee driving. Another quick toss. Another one to Woods. He's tied the Tim McGee record near the 40. 123 catches in his career. Woods, a senior from Gallatin. His brother Carl played for Vanderbilt. But Johnny Major, I said, was it a tough recruit with his brother at Vanderbilt? He says, we had him all the way.
Yeah, he said he wanted to go to Tennessee, and boy, I tell you what, he's been a great one for him. And there's been some great ones here. 1 more to go, and he passes Tim McGee, who had a fantastic career here. Now is playing with the Bengals, I think, isn't he?
Yes, second down 3. Kelly with instructions for his tight end Mark Adams. Tennessee with a spread formation this time, and they run it to Thompson. There's Gandolfo. He's the man who made the play. Then the help came. Gandolfo, the true freshman, defensive right tackle 51, made the penetration before Winston finished off Thompson.
Yeah, number 51. Mike Gandolfo. He's 6 feet, weighs 227 pounds. He's alive. Look at that. I mean, you can just, it just doesn't look fair. But he fights it off and makes the play. He was a defensive player of the year last year as a high school senior in the Houston area, and he's come here and, you know, pressed into action because of the injury to Bradley, but he's playing a lot bigger than he is.
3rd down 3. Gives up 50 pounds to Myslinski. Kelly on the option to Carter. Close. Let's make that Thompson close to the first down. They say he got the first down. Cedric Moore, Renford Reese combined on the play, but Tennessee keeps their drive alive with 4:22 to go in the 3rd, trailing 10-3.
Watson questioning the spot of the official, trying to do what he can for the cause, trying to make that official feel like he owes him one.
Was he offering him his cap?
Right, make him feel guilty watching.
Want to wear my jacket? Want a Vandy cap? First and 10.
Nothing happening this time. Stopped at the line of scrimmage is Tony Thompson. That's the 20th carry today for Tony Thompson. And coming into the ball game all year long, Tony Thompson had only 38 carries. So he's not used to this kind of pounding that he's been taking today.
And Rod Keefe comes up with the play, a sophomore from Hueytown, Alabama. Plagued by injuries last year, but has had a credible year this year for Vanderbilt, as have many of the players on this young defense.
It's the 11th play of this Tennessee drive. Second down 10. Inside 4 minutes to go third quarter. Vanderbilt leading by 7. Kelly with the play fake. He fooled the rushers. Now he's going to run it. Get out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. The first down stick is at the 27. Gain of 8 by Andy Kelly.
Good coverage by the Vanderbilt secondary. They're trying to get Harper down there deep in the corner.
Tennessee with another third down conversion situation. They are now 6 of 12, and that's about 50%, which is pretty good on the day. They were 3 of 9 at one point. It helps when you're 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3 instead of the 3rd and longs, which they were in all of the first half. Kelly with a long checkup.
Kelly is thrown down at the 28-yard line. Let's see if he got the first down. Keith came in there to make the play. This will be close.
Now that was a little strange.
If it's close, Tennessee may go ahead and go for it.
They had an alignment to the wide side of the field, Bob. Andy McCarroll had moved out. The tight end was in there. They were out-manning Vanderbilt the other way. Kelly checks back into the sideline.
4th down, 1 yard. Big play for the Volunteers. It'll be close. Clemens McCroskey, I think he got it.
Looked like the offensive line surge moved Vanderbilt back. McCarroll, Sarter combined on the play.
Well, Meads and Brown came around the outside. Let's watch it here. And you're right, a good surge. And Andy McCarroll there, Scott Brown coming around the outside, but they're just so outweighed up front. It's 306 against 227. You're going to get some movement.
Yeah, what a measurement this is. As Johnny Major, you see the look on his face. Looked like he got it, but all depends on the spot. It's close. It's close.
By about an inch, maybe half an inch. You saw it. Look how close this is, but it's Tennessee first down.
Straight ahead on the right side. They get some movement with Moore. Gandolfo closes down. Brown comes around the corner to nail him. Those little guys just got to get down. I mean, it's tough to grab the grass. There's no grass to grab here, you know, so you just got to grab, get down low, make a pile.
At the 27, first down Tennessee, 2:34 to go, third quarter. Here's the handoff to Vincent Moore on the end around, and Moore to the 9-yard line. A gain of 18, the junior from Memphis.
You know, Bob, they ran the fake reverse in the first series of plays, and they threw it. If they had handed off on the reverse, the guy would have gone for 50 yards in the first quarter. Vince Moore coming around there, and whoever was responsible for the containment left home.
First and goal from the 9. Volunteers trailing by 7. Thompson to the 6. Cedric Moore with the stop. What is this, about 16 plays on this drive? Tennessee maintaining possession of the ball and running it down Vanderbilt's throat, but still trailing 10-3. What a fourth quarter it's going to be, even if Tennessee scores.
As we pointed out at the start of the second half, we expected Tennessee just to get back down to business. Just take the ball, quit messing around, start to establish a dominance of the line of scrimmage.
Thompson and Poles in the backfield. Andy Kelly with the option, turns it inside.
will be now 3rd down and about 4. Demond Winston with his 9th tackle of the day.
See, offensively, what you'd like to be, Watson Brown is known as being a creative coach. Throws some complicated schemes at you. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to have better people. He wants to just be able to go out and run simple plays and score points.
And we'll be back in a moment. Johnny Majors called timeout.
Here, the reverse. Here's Vince Moore over here and Scotty Brown, who's had a great game, but you just can't get too aggressive. You got to come here and check, make sure nothing's coming back. That time, Brown got into the pursuit, see him get flat, and here comes Vince Moore. Sees it too late, and now he's off to the races. Steve Law coming back in to help make the play. Gandolfo running downfield. Donnelly brings him down, and now we're down on the 4-yard line.
Where it's 3rd down, 16th play, almost 7 minutes. Tennessee has had the ball. Kelly lobbing it into the end zone. There's Pickens. What a catch! Touchdown, Tennessee! Pickens, a simply great athlete. The redshirt freshman who plays both ways. Free safety, wide receiver, returns punts, returns kicks. Now got his 2nd touchdown reception of the year.
Well, they put Steve Law in there for Robbie Young because he's a senior. He's got some experience. He's had a broken hand, but they've been using him in short yardage and critical situations. And that time he just got out-jumped.
So it's 10-9. Vanderbilt still leading with the point-after attempt coming up here by Greg Burke. What a game this has been. Tennessee, prohibitive favorite coming into the game. 25, 26 points, depending on who you ask. Trailed the whole ball game. Until now, and it's tied at 10 with 1:10 to go in the 3rd quarter. What a drive by Tennessee. About 7 minutes on the clock. Something, as you said at the beginning of this half, Tim, that if they got down to business, got down to fundamentals, and just drove the ball, ran the ball, this could happen.
Yeah, and they used a little razzle-dazzle because Vanderbilt is coming after him so tough. They come with a reverse that turned out to be a big play for him, but the idea is they got down to what they do best. That's control the line of scrimmage, knock people off the ball, punish people up front. That's what they've got going for them. They've got the skilled people that can make the big plays, and Pickens did come up with the big catch, but basically it's that establishment of the physical prowess of this Tennessee offensive line that was that drive.
A lot of the tradition of SEC football are the local announcers. Let's watch this play. Here's John Ward, the voice of the Volunteers. Let's watch and listen.
Sends 2 receivers wide to the right. Pickens comes to the left. Kelly is the quarterback. Throwing. High pass into the end zone to Pickens. Give it to him. Touchdown, Carl Pickens. When the money is on the line.
John Ward, the voice of the Volunteers. He's a beauty. There's some great ones around the league. He's one of our favorites. Corey Harris with the ball at the 20. It came loose. Who's got it? Vanderbilt covered it at the 21. Whoa.
Sean Walker tore that one loose. And let's watch that touchdown once again. You know, the quarterback gets in a bump and run position. When you got a guy named Pickens, you're giving him a head start already. Law's in good shape. He's got to jump up over his head. His feet get tied up with Pickens, and he makes the catch. Amazing. He can score from anywhere. Kickoff return, we saw him run that one back at the end of the first half, 93 yards. An interception return for 40-yard touchdown.
Minute 5 in the 3rd quarter. Tied at 10. Vandy 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. On the option, Anthony Carter gets about 5 on the play. Darrell Hardy with the stop for Tennessee. Less than a minute to go, 3rd quarter. It's been a beautiful football game. The interstate rivalry between Vanderbilt and Tennessee. The Volunteers 9-1 on the year, 8th ranked in the country. Probably headed toward the Cotton Bowl. Possibly a chance to tie for the conference championship. 2nd down 4, Vanderbilt. taking the snap.
Well, this crowd's definitely getting back in this football game. Moore just ducked around the tackle, was able to grab a hold of Mike Healy before anything had a chance to develop, and this crowd has come to life, and with it, the Tennessee football team.
It's tied at 10. We're headed to the fourth quarter in Knoxville. Closing moments, Tennessee is tied at closing moments of the third quarter. Auburn with the early lead. Down on the plains against Alabama. Look at that beauty. Georgia Tech, a one-point game at the half. Arkansas could be playing Tennessee in the Cotton Bowl. For the scores from around the country, we'll keep you posted. Pittsburgh, big winner today over Rutgers. Georgia Southern defending their home field win streak. 1AA playoffs. So we have 15 minutes of football remaining at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. It's been a beauty. Tied at 10, Vanderbilt ball. Third down 6 from their own 24. Here come the Volunteers. Healy lofting it up, looking for Harris, who couldn't get to it. He lost it. Turned one way, then the other, couldn't find it. Pickens covering.
And that time they decided to come after him, Bob. Tennessee blitzing, locked up man-to-man. It was Pickens on Harris.
Tennessee has regained the statistical edge in the third quarter. Vanderbilt in that quarter had only 38 yards and 1 first down, and that was on their first drive. Tennessee had 124 yards.
Well, they just dominated the third quarter in terms of time of possession, too, I'd say, Bob.
Here's Lawrence, who has done an exceptional job. This time he punted it to the 24 to Pickens. Vanderbilt covering. They've closed in on him, though. This is the guy with a great speed. What an athlete. Pickens all the way out to the 40. Vanderbilt bunched up on him. They had about 5 guys down there, but Pickens gets 16 yards on the return. A 52-yard punt. Tennessee with good field position, tied at 10 at their own 40. Tim and I met with Johnny Majors yesterday over at the Neyland Thompson Sports Center. That's the new facility here on the University of Tennessee campus. If it's not the finest one in the country, it's tied for finest. This is the weight room. Very competitive program. Of course, this beautiful facility helps to that. But look at this. These are the clubs. In other words, how well you do, the competitive aspect. That's the 600-pound club. Shazan Bradley and Eric Still, that man in the club. Well, his back squats, I believe, in the 600-pound category. And the beautiful new facilities.
I want everybody in that club to be my friend. I send them all Christmas cards.
And go with me when I visit New York. First down 10. Kelly hit hard. Coming right up the middle was Joel Walker of Vanderbilt, and he leveled Andy Kelly at the 34-yard line. That quietened this crowd a little bit.
Exactly. During the break, we were saying that some of the seniors or some of the older folks had to step in there and say, hey, we need to shut these people down. Let's get them out of this thing. You can't let the momentum turn. That was simply a missed assignment. Nobody touched Walker, and he hammered Kelly.
This will be second down 16, tied at 10. 14 minutes to go in this ball game. Kelly to throw. Another pass rush. He got rid of it, but the pressure in his face again was Joel Walker, who had done a loop around the right side and come at him.
And Kenny Pulse almost came up with an interception there. He tipped that ball down, but I mean, that's big pressure. It looked as though things were really going to turn. You know, it looked like the Commodore was going to get on the skids. Then they were going to run him out of the stadium. But this defense here has come back in and stemmed the tide a bit.
There's a tiny little section over behind the Vanderbilt band. There's about 92,000 here at Neyland Stadium today. Some of the folks who come over from Nashville, of course, Vanderbilt, Tennessee in this rivalry. Kelly with a lot of time. He throws it up here, but short of the first down. Out to the 48-yard line to Mark Adams. Winston made the stop, and Tennessee will have to give it up.
Well, that time Mike Gandolfo came around the outside, hit up in the middle and came around the outside, pressured Healy up into the pocket. And that's where all of a sudden that big size isn't quite as much of a factor. You're counting more on your quickness, and that's where Gandolfo can get a little bit of an advantage.
Elmore to punt on fourth down. That's a line drive. catch at the 20 by Corey Harris. So Vanderbilt still tied, 13-18 to go, and only a 33-yard punt that time by Ken Elmore. 18 remaining in this ball game. It's tied at 10. Vanderbilt, who dominated ball possession by, well, only by a couple of minutes in the first half, can't get anything going offensively in the third quarter. Vanderbilt's 3 possession, 4 plays, 3 plays, then 3 plays.
And that didn't happen to him the whole first half.
First down from the 21. Healy with pressure. Complete to Gaines out here to the 28-yard line. Mark Fletcher with a stop for Tennessee.
And Doug Matthews has his defense cranked up. They're doing a good job. Johnny Major's defense doing a good job disguising the blitz. But they are coming after Vanderbilt. They don't want to let him get on track. Now, the benefit there is they keep any momentum from building and they get their offense back in the game in a hurry. The liability could be is if Vanderbilt would hit a big one on them.
Second down 3. Vanderbilt with receivers, 2 receivers split right, 2 receivers split left. They run the ball, attempting to get the first down. It was 2nd and 3, but it was a very long 3. James Wilson hitting Anthony Carter. I don't think he got the first down. It's going to be 3rd down, short yardage. By the way, we've just heard from Vanderbilt's point of view, Scott Brown and Greg Smith both will be out for the remainder of this game with knee injuries for Vanderbilt. Big conversion play for the Commodores. 3rd down, 1 from the Vanderbilt 30. Healy keeps it, gets the first down and a couple more. Intelligent play call. One reason it's intelligent is Kevin Brothen, the fine center for Vanderbilt.
And that's the idea. Just pick the spot. I don't think Healy even gave a signal or an audio sound. He probably just goosed the center and off they went.
You saw Brothen surge. Brothen about 3-4 yards downfield off that snap. There he is, Kevin Brothen, sophomore, Oakland, Illinois, 6'3", 275.
Out of Marist High School, and he could play for anybody.
First down, Vanderbilt. Healy. Incomplete, intended for Gaines on the far sideline. 11:45 to go in this ball game. There aren't many of us, including yours truly, who would have thought this game would have been tied at 10 with under 12 minutes to go. Johnny Majors, however, is not included among that. He knew that possibility existed.
Well, as a head coach, you have a tendency to imagine the worst happening. And Johnny, I guarantee you, Johnny was ready to play today.
Second down 10, Vanderbilt from the 34. Here come the Volunteers. Great job of protection. Corey Harris open, but Pickens picked it off at the 30. That's what he's there for. The redshirt freshman, formerly a wide receiver, moved over there because he makes the big play. His 4th interception on the year. That looked like it was in Corey Harris' hands.
This time Healy just underthrows him a tad. They felt like they could throw it down the middle on Pickens. He took too many chances, and that ball is just a little bit underthrown, but Pickens is close enough to come up with the big catch. Obviously a receiver, well skilled in catching the football, but you see Corey Harris slowing down, McCluskey chasing, but Pickens comes up with the big one.
Now Kelly looked right through left. It is complete to Thomas Woods, gain of about 4 to the 34-yard line.
And that's it for Woods.
That is the record breaker. 124 catches, breaking the record of Tim McGee. I think they've told him, Thomas Woods, what a career, the senior wide receiver.
He said, hey, that's my ball. I want you to hold that ball for me.
Forever.
Yeah.
That's the noise you hear, the cheering for Thomas Woods. And you know, this year they haven't thrown the ball as often as some Tennessee teams in the past. Particularly early, they had that crushing cobweb running game. This is to Thompson, avoided a tackle, out to the 38-yard line.
And he's had his hands full today, hasn't he? As you mentioned, Bob, he hasn't really had to carry much of a load prior to this time. Early in the year, you had Cobb and Webb, and then later Webb, and they like to use Amsler in that situation too, but he really has had the ball under his arm quite often this afternoon.
21 carries, 80 yards. That was his first catch. Comes again, 22nd carry of the day for the first down out near midfield. Tennessee starting to wear on this Vanderbilt defense. This Vanderbilt defense, though you pointed out early in the game, is a better defense than you're used to seeing at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and they're staying in there. They're holding on. They could have folded at the beginning of the fourth quarter as the momentum shifted, but they came back and stole the momentum right back from Tennessee.
10:44 to go in this game. Tied at 10. Bob Neal, Tim Foley with you from Knoxville, our final SEC telecast of 1989. Here comes Thompson again. This time a big hole on the right side. And Thompson down at the 30, and they'll tag on a penalty. A war of attrition starting to go in the favor of the Volunteers.
Well, that time they got the trap turned upfield.
Smash penalty against the defense in the end of the run. First down.
Let's see this again. Watch the right, 83 blocking down. Now McCarroll has got to close that. He's got to squeeze that down, make that bounce to the outside. Roland Poles does an excellent job of blocking, getting them on the ground. Donnelly coming over, saves a touchdown. They call a face mask, 5 yards. Nothing real bad.
Thompson today with 114 yards. He had only 172 on the year coming into this game. So he's done the job. It's Thompson again. Damon Winston with his 11th tackle for Vanderbilt. Clock down to 10:14.
That time Andy McCarroll took a real shot coming off a block. I'm not sure he's going to get up. He's dazed. There's a lot of offensive backs that would volunteer to run behind this line. McCarroll dealing with the tight end, comes off it, and then pow. He hits Winston and the running back, and he's down on the field.
Already Scott Brown injured and out of this ball game. Greg Smith also for Vanderbilt injured and out. And remember, Chuck Webb had a sore ankle and did not even start for Tennessee. That's why Thompson took over the Yeoman's job at tailback. Carroll, his bell rung, having a little trouble getting up. By the way, a couple of former SEC basketball players are going to meet again tonight when Charles Barkley and the 76ers visit the Atlanta Hawks. Dominique Wilkins, 7:35 Eastern Time here on TBS. By the way, Tim and I wanted to say, you see, McCarroll looks to be okay as he's headed off the field. Wanted to send our greetings to our former producer, Skip Ellison, who's watching up in Chicago. What's it, about 23, 24 below up there today, probably?
Right. Go to your window, Skip. Open it. And watch the steam come out of your mouth. Get used to that. It's just getting started.
Ro Backfish producing today's game and doing an excellent job. But we certainly miss Skip Ellison. Wish him well up in Chicago. McCarroll helped off the field. 2nd down, 8 Tennessee. Under 10 minutes to go in the ballgame. Tied at 10. Runner. It is complete to Mark Adams. To the 12-yard line, a gain of 12.
See, in a normal defense, you've got 2 linebackers off the line. In this defense, only 1 linebacker off the line. And if you can draw him away from the tight end, that pop is there. The next man that's in his face is going to be Chris Donnelly, the free safety. Good catch by Mark Adams. He's been blocking well in this drive also.
And he has 4 catches on the day. The backup tight end. Thompson hit in the backfield, but gets it to about the 8-yard line. Now, Tennessee has been down here earlier and stopped a couple of times by Vanderbilt's bend but don't break defense, and another Vanderbilt player is down. We talked about a war of attrition. You know, you don't anticipate that the players are going to go down with injuries, but Vanderbilt's had at least 3 today. This is Doug Bradley, who had been hurt earlier this year.
And he's had a pinched nerve in his shoulder. He's had a real problem with that. He really hasn't been able to raise his arm and has fought back to try to be a part of this football team near the end of this season. But he weighs 230 pounds. So you got 230 pounds and 226 pounds. You got McCarroll in there. You got Gandolfo at 227. And That's a tough day at the office when you're running into guys like Anton Davis, 306 pounds.
Andy McCarroll's out with an injury. Scott Brown is out with an injury. And now those are both linebackers. Now Doug Bradley. Doug's a senior playing his final game. So is Andy McCarroll.
So Rick Christoffel tries to kind of patchwork this defense back together. He's a defensive coordinator. He's been with Watson Brown ever since Austin Peay. And as a matter of fact, I think is interviewing for the Austin Peay job sometime next week. Be a great choice.
Still working on Doug Bradley over there. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back to Knoxville right after this. Looked like Bradley's okay after he got off. He left the field, however. Second down, 7, Tennessee now. From the 8. Kelly's got a lot of room. Kelly gets to about the 3. Alan Young had a grasp around his shoulder, and then Reese hit him hard, number 3. I believe he was shy of the first down.
Yeah, and great hustle by Renford Reese. Comes all the way from the left side. He's on the bottom of your screen down here. Fiddle around with Woods. Turns it loose. Now he's accelerating toward the quarterback, and great hustle by the senior.
It's about a 45-yard run by Renford Reese to make that play. This is 3rd down and 1 from the 2. Here comes Thompson. Fumble on the play, and the ball will be down. I believe they said the ground caused it, which means it remains in the possession of Tennessee, and I think Thompson got the first down. Meads came up there to meet him, and Thompson made a beautiful cut.
And you almost had a clip. I mean, this is really hairy. Watch this. Let's see it again. Guard still pulling out around there. Baird pulling out, and well, we can't see it. Maybe we got a different angle for you. But
look at Roland Poles with his arms out like, not me.
Yeah.
I didn't touch him. I didn't do it.
But that's what it was, and he was leaning up against Steve Meads. And let's see it from this angle here. Reese gets cut. Now here comes Meads. Now that could have been called.
It's a first down. Just outside the 1-yard line. It's tied at 10. 8 minutes to go in this ball game. Tennessee trailed 10-3 at the half.
But that's great hustle by Steve Meads, and to get that play contained, and then the rest of that Vanderbilt defense getting there and make the play, keeping them out of the end zone. Give yourself another chance. Somebody cause a fumble. Somebody make something happen.
Full house backfield. Thompson airborne. He stopped. Damon Winston came up and met Tony Thompson head-to-head. And the senior from Lansing, Michigan played big. That's why he made our all-conference team.
Yeah, I love to see that. You know, John, John doesn't love to see that. But, you know, that's good defense. And watch this now. Watch Winston. Boom! Right there, man. And great hit. Good job by his defensive front. All those little rugrats running around making that guy jump. That's great.
Full house backfield. 11th play on the drive from the 1. Second down. Thompson. Touchdown, Tennessee. The Volunteers take the lead for the first time in this game with 7:11 remaining. Brown knows that he's going to have to uncork some kind of offense here against a very good Tennessee football team. But unable to do it in the second half. Point after's good. It is 17-10 Volunteers, 7:11 remaining in the ball game.
Here's bully their way into the end zone. You got these two big linemen. They're going to get movement here. Big block by the tight end, Mark Adams, and then Poles comes in there to finish it off, and touchdown, Tennessee. Let's watch it work. From the 1, Kelly hands off and watches. Good movement. Good block by the tight end, and allows Thompson to sneak his way in there. 6 points. And that rascal is tired today. He's caught some. He ran for 122 yards. He's had an afternoon full.
28 carries. He had 38 carries all year coming into this game. He replaced the injured Chuck Webb. Squib kick by Tennessee. Vanderbilt's going to have an opportunity for some field position. Out to the 35 comes Tony Jackson. Tony is a true freshman, tailback, 5'8" speedster from Saginaw, Michigan. So Vanderbilt trails by 7 with 7:07 to go in the game. Johnny Majors hasn't exactly breathed a sigh of relief yet.
No, he didn't. You know, John was a punter, and he was a kicker, and he was a holder, and he did all that stuff. He's a real special teams guy, and he wants better coverage out of his kickoff team.
Out of the shotgun. Healy. He completes it to Harris, who steps out of bounds out here to the 39-yard line. First down. Vanderbilt. Excuse me. About a gain of about 5, Vanderbilt. That play started at the 34-yard line. I'd had him at the 25.
And they're going to run that out and up. They're going to run that sideline and up. Pickens is a guy that wants to make the big play. As you see Watson Brown talking to Randy Ross, his quarterback coach.
UT 36 offensive plays in the second half. Vandy right now about to execute their 17th offensive play. Second down, 6. Here come the Volunteers. Healy got rid of it. And it's intercepted. Number 6 is McCleskey, the true freshman. Out at the 39-yard line by Brad Gaines.
Let's see it again. The blitz is coming. He goes the right way with it. Healy goes the right way with it. Just overthrown. Nowhere close to civilian. And little JJ comes up with the ball. But here's a guy that was a walk-on. Too little to play any place. And he winds up as the starter at Tennessee and one of the finest teams in the country. And he's trying to make this interception return last as long as he can.
Johnny Majors just loves this little guy, too. He played locally here at Knoxville, walked on. He's listed at 5'8", but he's 5'7", according to Johnny, and he's a starter on this team. Thompson, a couple out to the 40. 6:40 to go in the ball game. That doesn't exactly close the door on Vanderbilt if they can stop Tennessee, and that's been impossible in the second half.
Another Vanderbilt player is down. That's Cedric Moore.
Yes, junior.
But you just like to hear about those stories. You know, the young guy that's not big enough to play and all of a sudden jumps up and he's an integral part of a resurgence in your defense. And Johnny was talking about him and said not only is he a good athlete and a real competitor, he's really a leader as a true freshman. You know, he's exerting his influence on the other people, as he tries to get better, he encourages them to do the same thing. So good to see good things happen to good folks.
Preston Warren had a disappointing season for Tennessee at left corner. He's injured now, but he was, some people thought, had all-conference potential over there. And the secondary was becoming an Achilles heel for UT. And then Pickens moved in there, and McCleskey moved in there, and Tennessee's 9-1. Enough said about it. Coming up New Year's Eve, TBS Sports will bring you the inaugural Copper Bowl live from Tucson, Arizona. Tim and I will be there to bring you the action as Arizona hosts NC State. First Copper Bowl brought to you by Breathless. 8:05 Eastern Time on TBS New Year's Eve. Cedric Moore walking off under his own power.
Watson Brown certainly hasn't given up on this game yet. Just 7 points away, 1 score away. 2 years ago he was here and watched one slip away on him, and the final score was 38-36.
This is second down 8 from the 41. Tennessee with that ability to just keep running the ball. Thompson broke the tackle. Again, Dolfo was back there in the backfield, couldn't get a hold of him. Meads had to come up to make the play after a gain of about 4. spotted at the 44-yard line. Third down, big defensive series here for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
They need the football back without any further damage being done.
Auburn, last we heard, leading Alabama down at Auburn. Tennessee knows with a win today, they can, if Auburn were to beat Alabama, grab a share of the SEC title. Thompson, no gain again. That was on third down. Vanderbilt's going to get another opportunity here with 5:28 to go. Few boos ring out from the crowd at Neyland Stadium, thinking they're conservative. But if I'm Johnny Majors, I'm running the ball right now, no question, with my offensive line and the way they've been able to run the ball in the second half. Over 100 yards rushing in the second half.
Exactly. Any successful coach is always considered to be conservative. The only exception might be Bobby Bowden at Florida State. And, because you know that taking risks oftentimes doesn't pay off.
Corey Harris and Ken Elmore at a good time comes up with a real long one. Corey Harris wisely let it go into the end zone. It'll be out to the 20-yard line for Vanderbilt. A punt of 56 yards with just...
He took a forearm in the head and just seemed to go unconscious there momentarily. I mean, that's a big load coming at you. Amsler, they're going to run out the clock here, and all of a sudden, where'd this guy come from? Thank goodness he's all right.
He waddled, ambled off the field. Looks to be okay. Well, Vanderbilt now with 3:27, trailing by 7, has the ball again at their own 18-yard line.
And John Gromos has a chance to redeem himself.
Came in to replace Healy, threw an interception on the first play. Gromos, the 6'5 senior, good pocket passer. Tennessee nails him in the backfield. The two defensive tackles, 66 Williams, 74 Moore, make the play.
If you run back this play, this has been the story of John Gromos' career. Set to throw, look out, down you go. They just haven't been able to protect it. You need somebody behind the line that's still developing, that's got some mobility, that can get out of there.
Now Gromos up behind the center. This will be second down 20. Tennessee in coverage this time. Gromos in his own end zone. That is incomplete. Incomplete at the 20. The official almost called it a reception. Then another one came over and said, no, short hop. Incomplete intended for Corey Harris. We have 2:37 to go in the game. And now it is third down long Vanderbilt after they got the fumble caused by the devastating tackle Damon Winston on Greg Amsler.
And that's the difference between this defense and the defense in the past. Not just that attitude from Damon Winston, but the attitude from all those players on defense. They make a play. They don't quit. They don't roll over.
Gromos, his own end zone. It's caught after almost being intercepted. Derek Gregg came up with it. Tennessee almost picked it off. It was Keith Denson who came over, number 20 for Tennessee. A gain of 19, went through his arms, into the arms of Derek Gregg. That's Gregg's first catch of the day, and a big play for Vanderbilt.
That's enough time there. Gromos gets it off in desperation. I mean, that one's going the other way. Denson's there, can't hang on to the football, and Gregg takes the leftovers. 4th and 1 now for Vanderbilt. Let's see it again. Hobby smells blood, can't get there in time. Gromos lets it go, probably wondering, oh my goodness, I got to get up and make this tackle. And it slides through, and Derek Gregg comes up with it.
They have the ball spotted at the 27, and Gromos talks to Watson Brown as we have a timeout on the field. Getting some instructions from Watson Brown, and Johnny Majors still worried. 2:07 remaining. Tennessee leads it by 7, but Vanderbilt has a little bit of room now. The entire Tennessee defensive unit is huddled over on the near sideline, talking to the defensive coaches.
And this is what it all comes down to. Of course, they revamped the defense halfway through the season last year when they were 0-6, and And they've got a new spirit. They had a lot of young players in their plan. They were still vulnerable to the pass early in the year, but they've developed some character. They've developed some confidence. And they just soon shut Vanderbilt down right here and go home.
4th down and 1 for Vanderbilt. And it's close to the first down. Brad Gaines carrying. They may have to bring that stick into measure. They're calling it in. Dick Wilson, the official. Watson Brown upset with one of his players.
Now, what he wants the team to do is to get in the huddle. They can't determine whether it's a first down or not, but they can get ready for the next play. So he wants them, he wants them to get back in the huddle and get ready to play.
That was 4th down. This measurement, everything for Vanderbilt.
First down, they got it. Gromos in there. Good job of stuffing the play there by Walker. They're all fighting it out, but Vanderbilt slides through for first down.
Minute 50 remaining. First down 10. Gromos. Oh, threw it right into the waiting arms of the defensive coverage. That was 99 Casey Rogers. Mercy. Brad Gaines, the intended receiver.
That's 3 out of 3. You might want to make a change here. I guess Watson's not going to do it, but Healy had a lot of luck trying to get him to call 2 plays. Randy Ross signaling that in. Healy had a lot of luck in the first quarter, moving around. It's a dangerous spot to be in that Vanderbilt pocket. Seems to evaporate in a hurry.
Second down 10. Nobody on Vanderbilt's receiving corps is any faster than the defensive backs. Another one almost thrown into the arm of Darryl Hardy. Gromos really struggling. The senior, don't want to get on his case too much, but I got to tell you, he is not on his game. He's been benched since midseason, is not sharp in this game here late in the game. You have to think Healy would be connecting on some of those passes. Although you don't know that for sure. Minute 38 remaining, and it'll be 3rd down 10.
And I think what Watson Brown's trying to do is to get John to throw it down the field. He's throwing at those underneath routes. Well, Tennessee's all over those now. Go ahead and throw it down the field. Challenge him downfield.
3rd down 10. Tennessee with a stunt, but in coverage. Gromos throwing on the run. Did Gaines make that catch? Yes, a gain of 9 out to the 38. Hardy covering. So it's going to be 4th down and about 1 for Vanderbilt. In their season, in this drive, with a minute 26 to go.
And that time, the primary receiver, Corey Harris, fell down. A route didn't develop. Gromos rolled to the right and unloaded it to Brad Gaines, and once again comes up with a remarkable catch.
It's closer to 2 yards short of the first down. So it'll be 4th, and we'll call it 2 out at the 37-yard line. Plenty of time for Vanderbilt left in this game with a minute 26 if they get the first down.
Exactly, and Watson talking to John, trying to settle John down. He has decided to put the fate of this game in John Gromos' hands. They are capable hands, but he just needs, as you said, Bob, he needs to settle down a little bit, relax, and look downfield. With the kind of arm he's got, he can stick it in there.
I want to take a moment while we have the timeout to thank our booth crew for another great job in the '89 season. Kim Anderson, Alex Vergara, Rose Smith, our booth manager. Everybody's done such a tremendous job. Of course, it's been fun working with you again, Tim, concluding our 8th year, and we're still 27 years old. Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that something? Just staying around you keeps me young. That'll do it.
Roe Backfish producing today. He's done a terrific job. And of course, Tom Smith, our director, the best in the business. Executive producer, Vice President of TBS Sports, Don McGuire, with great support. 4th down. And about 2. Gromos throws it. And of all people to drop the ball, Brad Gaines. Vanderbilt and the Southeastern Conference leading receiver dropped the ball, and he was right at the first down marker. So that'll about do it for Vanderbilt. Save another Tennessee turnover, trailing by 7 with 1:21 to go in this game.
Well, that's what you try to do. You try to get the ball in the hands of your best receiver. He had worked his way open, but he just wasn't able to hang on. No, you can't catch it for him, Watson. But Brad Gaines has had a remarkable career here. Right there, just took his eyes off the ball, lost his concentration at the last second, and that's the end of another season for Watson Brown and Vanderbilt. They've got some, as we mentioned before, some fine young talent, some real players coming back next year.
Kelly kept it unwisely. He gets nailed back here at the 42-yard line with 1:13 to go. Vanderbilt has 1 timeout remaining, by the way.
John Majors has walked that white stripe many a game over the last 20-some years, and just an amazing, amazing record. That in December, his record, as you can see there, 22-1, but more recently, Bob's looking at it now, and in November and December, they've won their last 20 games. Make it 21. Well, don't make it 21 yet, but in 1:13 seconds, you can make it 21. And that's really something. That's a sign of a great team. You know, if you can win down the stretch.
We're about 92,000 here at Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Beautiful day for football in the low 50s. Little hazy clouds, but mainly a sunshiny day. And Tennessee hoping for a share of the SEC title if Auburn can beat Alabama today. Carl Pickens, what a game he has had. That youngster, just a freshman, plays both ways. You call him double duty, it's quadruple duty.
Yeah, Nate, nothing to it, Mom. Catch a touchdown pass, get an interception. I think Kippy Brown, the receiver coach here at Tennessee, he stands behind a wall that's 7 feet tall. If you can jump over it, he'll talk to you.
And now Tennessee just trying to run out the clock as it ticks down. Pickens, we're looking at him, 27 punt returning yards, 55 kickoff returning yards, 1 TD reception, 1 interception. What a game he has had today, Carl Pickens. He reminds Johnny Majors of Johnny Majors, except Johnny said Carl's a lot more talented than I was. Reminds himself of himself because of the double duty that he plays, of course. What talent on this Tennessee team. Carl is from Murphy, North Carolina, 6'2", 190, and a redshirt freshman. Tennessee just running out the string now as Vanderbilt's out of timeouts. 30 seconds remaining in this ball game. By the way, we often neglect to thank a lot of the people who help us during the year. The sports information directors around the entire conference, the assistant coaches who Tim spends so much time with, and all the folks in the Southeastern Conference offices in Birmingham, Alabama, Mark Womack, the interim commissioner, and the entire staff over there. And we'd like to thank all of them for support and help in our SEC season for 1989. And it ended beautifully today with a great game between Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Johnny Majors' team goes to 10-1, Cotton Bowl bound, probably. Auburn, Alabama playing for the right to go to the Sugar Bowl, but if Auburn were to beat Alabama today, Tennessee would have a share of the Southeastern Conference title. Watson Brown congratulating Johnny Majors in the battle of the state of Tennessee. It went to the Volunteers 17-10.